Are live. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Armbars and Suplexes, the live stream. This is live stream number 10.
Damn, 10,
and
dude.
it's number 10, baby. It's number 10, and I think it's going pretty good. Our views they're kind of consistent, but they're consistently good. If I may say so myself, they're not dipping down. I think that's what you kind of avoid. You don't want to go down.
We're growing. It's like this. It's going like this. Oh.
Exactly. And that's what we can. That's all we can ask for. As always, I'm your host, Alec Miller, 0423. Boom, got it right this time. Right there. You follow me on Twitter, Alec Miller, 0423.
You can find me at.
Go ahead.
You can find me at The Real Jesus, and that's spelled JEEZUS. For all your hot takes, the hottest of the hot takes. I mean, they're like the floor is lava. The floor is lava. That's how my takes are. The takes are lava.
Absolutely. I'm over here sipping on this Shiner Frost. It's pretty good.
So you're saying you're the king of cold takes. You got cold takes out there.
I got cold takes, hot takes. I got them all. No, actually, I got this Shiner. I don't know what it is about me, and if I see like a variety pack, if it's what it's called.
That's true.
In terms of beer, I gotta get it. No matter really what it is, especially if it's like a St. Arnold's or a Shiner. Mm-hmm. I got this one. This one was like a winter one. So it came with this frost, which is not bad. It's a typical Shiner. Mm-hmm. The other one is a dark cherry, which is pretty good. And then probably my favorite one of it is
stout.
And then my favorite one's probably the candied pecan, which is actually really good. Delicious.
Is it sweet?
Yeah, it's got a little sweet flavor to it, and I like it a lot.
Look at us, man, talking beer for some beer snobs, man. I love beer, dude. I'm a beer aficionado, and I make my own beer sometimes too. So, oh shit.
Uh-oh. It's falling apart.
There it goes. All right, we're back in.
Yeah. Angel says, "Lucky I can drink." I am very lucky I can drink. It's always a good time. My son's all over the place right now. Sorry about that. He is having fun right here in front of me, but he's got to go to the room. Bye, buddy. All right, man. So this was actually a really fun weekend for those who don't know. I attended the Royal Rumble this past Sunday night. I had a blast. Was literally there from 5 to 11, but it was still a good time.
Nice.
Luckily, I took that Monday, the Monday after off, so I could recover because my voice was shot. My voice is still kind of bad, but my voice was shot yesterday. It was gone. There was so much screaming and so much.
I can imagine, man.
Cheering, man. It was awesome. But we'll get into that later. That'll probably be our main event. Yes, Angel, don't drop the gun quite yet, but yes, we will get to that. That'll be like our main event tonight is the Royal Rumble. We have other things to talk about. We have UFC Fight Night Raleigh, which was a pretty decent card. I know you watched a little bit of it. There was, I think, it started off pretty hot, and then it just kind of waned.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because last week was kind of
over delivered, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was the card that we were saying wasn't that great, and then all of a sudden, there were submissions. There were stoppages all throughout the card, and then this one we were like, this is actually the one that has a little bit more I don't know how to say, like gravitas. Has
potential.
A lot of and then it kind of. But we'll talk about it. We'll go through the fights that we watched at least. We didn't watch the full card, but we did watch a decent amount of it. So we'll go through that. And then also we had NXT Worlds Collide, which happened Saturday night, which was a very fun card.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about also the Kobe.
Oh, yes. We're going to get to that too.
So
I actually wanted to start it off that way. Just to give our condolences to the Bryant family and the families of the other victims of the helicopter crash. It was absolutely tragic. I talked a little bit about it on Power Move Parker last night. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and give a few words, man.
Hey, man, just the same thing everybody's been saying, man. Obviously, condolences. Who am I? It don't matter, but condolences. It's tough. And dude, I grew up with Kobe, man. I mean, he came in the league, and I mean, I grew up the last, years of Jordan and then transition into Kobe. And I love to hate Kobe, man. I love to hate him. Mm-hmm. I hated the Lakers. I thought they always got, the refs call, the lucky bounce. But you can't deny that, man, and his will to win and his confidence and his just his demeanor that he was gonna win at at any cost, and how he was gonna put in the work to do it. And it was just amazing to watch him. And you always said, he's trying to be Michael, and he was trying to be Michael forever until, at one point he just said he's not being Michael, he's being Kobe, and that was the Mamba mentality. And it's just crazy, man. He was really young. I've seen all these, I saw T Mac, tearing up yesterday, and T Mac had a special a relationship with him. And I remember watching those two going back and forth. And I always say this, T Mac was a better offensive player, better than Kobe, but Kobe was a better overall package, and he just had a killer instinct that T Mac never had, and also the work ethic. But dude, it's just crazy, man. He's so young. His daughter dying too. That's. I mean, I have a daughter, 1 year apart. My daughter's 12, and Gianna Bryant, his daughter was 13. So it sucks, man. It just sucks. I don't know what's going on. Life isn't fair and all that, but it just sucks, man. So I mean, that's all I wanted to say, and it just sucks, man. It ain't gonna be the same, We'll see what happens going forward. They're talking about the NBA logo changing. I think it's time for it. But I mean, if it's Kobe, that's cool. If it's Kobe and Michael, somebody did a mock up like that, I thought that'd be cool too. But whatever, man. It's just remember that man for his stuff. He had a lot of back stuff too that we talked about, the Colorado stuff and all that. So he wasn't perfect by any stretch, and but it still sucks to lose him so early in his family. And then the other family that was there, that was on the helicopter. There was 9 people total, man. And it sucks, man. And the reason why he got the helicopter is just sad too. He got it, so he can be with his family more. And in the end, it ends up taking away. It ends up taking him away from his family a lot sooner than it probably should have.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'll just say that given his his checkered past, I think I kind of like what our friend Greg said, that you kind of it's okay to talk about the Colorado stuff after his death, because if anything, it proves that one, a man or a human being can change. They can learn from their mistakes. We don't know for sure what happened exactly, but it is what it is. But as also that it also helped him become a better man in terms of his career as well, not just in personal life, but in his career as well. Because I think that's when he realized, stop being a child. Let me take care of business, and that's exactly what he did from the minute he stepped on the court to the day he passed, man. Because I mean, most people don't remember that, or I mean, a lot of people might remember that he didn't have a great rookie season. His rookie season was pretty trash, but he and what would have probably killed majority of men's careers in the NBA, that only made him play even better and better. And
but he was like 17 or 18, man. I mean,
exactly.
What were we doing at 17 or 18?
Yeah, exactly. And like when people bring up his checkered past, they got to remember that he was young when he did that, and people change. No one's gonna be the same person. I'm still in my 20s, and I'm pretty sure when I'm in my 30s and early 40s, I'm not gonna be the person that I am today. So, and as someone who can make mistakes, I hope that that can show people that people can change. And I just want to remember him for who he was as a player, but also what we were starting to see of him as a father. It was some of the videos that I'm seeing. It's heartbreaking, man. And as you know, I'm a new father. My son's 1, but I can't even imagine like going through anything like that.
Yeah, man. That's. I mean, that's one of the worst fears I have, man. So it sucks. I mean, he meant a lot to the basketball community. So I mean, it's surreal, man. Like I didn't believe it. It's like I was listening to one of the shows, and they're talking about when something like this has happened that's made such an impact. And I think they said only Princess Diana, because Michael Jackson and Prince are a little bit older, but Princess Diana was young.
Yeah, it was a legit tragedy. Whereas they were kind of there was just like it's something about like a checker where they have kind of issues and like they self-destructive things that in their past, but like Princess Diana and with Kobe, which is straight tragedy.
Yeah, same thing with like Paul Walker, man. I mean, I think Paul Walker kind of stopped people a lot in their tracks too.
Absolutely,
because he was so young, and then the way he went out too with in a car accident and the fire and stuff. So I mean, it sucks, man. It just sucks. But you're right, Angel. Angel says everyone's still gonna be saying Kobe. Dude,
Absolutely.
I mean, I play Call of Duty, man, and we literally whenever we throw a grenade, we say Kobe.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to hit that spot and trying to get those downs on those opponents or whatever. So I mean, he
Mhm.
was a big part of it, man. Some of my favorite things about Kobe are the commercials, man. His commercials were the best, dude. Like two of my top favorite commercials are have you seen the one where he's talking to Kanye West,
Nuh-uh.
where he's just telling Kanye like the whole point of the thing is more, and he's like, how much? And Kanye's asking him, how much success do you want me to have? More success. He's like, I'm the best. I have all the records. He's like, more records. Well, what do you want me to do? He's like, but are you the same beast in a different animal? And Kanye's like, what are you talking about, Kobe Bryant? And he's like, you're welcome. Like he doesn't make that one, and then the Jalen Rose one where Jalen Rose walks up to him at a bar or something, and Kobe's sitting down, and the waiter comes over, and they're talking, hey Kobe, how's it going? And hey Jalen, how's it going? And then the waiter asks, what do you want? Would you want anything to drink? And Kobe says, yeah, I'll take a martini. And the waiter goes, how many olives would you want? And he looks Jalen Rose dead in the eye, and he goes, 81. And they just stay for like a split second. And then the waiter goes, are you serious? He's like, nah, just give me two. That was just a joke between me and him.
Oh man, yeah, he had a good sense of humor. Definitely had a good sense of humor.
Because
Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, man. I mean, it made. I think him and Peyton Manning were the best at commercials like that because those guys are so competitive and so like just straight. Like who they are, what they are. Like
Yeah,
you can literally see him doing that to Jalen Rose. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And then for
absolutely.
him to play off of it, it's just so funny, dude. But I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's something different. I don't know, 41 years old. I think I saw him play when back in the mid 2000s. I think when we had Steve Francis on, I went to one of the Laker games. I don't even know if he played. I gotta go back and see. But man, it's crazy, man. I mean, he's gone before a lot of these older cats, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah, man. I think they said he's the third of the actual NBA MVPs to pass away, and the other two are Moses Malone and Wilt Chamberlain, and
damn, dude,
they
that's
were due to
crazy.
old age. Like
That's
it
crazy. I
was.
mean, we're not gonna get to see his Hall of Fame speech, which
Mm-mm,
would have been probably amazing.
no.
And then man, and for me too, as a creator and writer, man, like he was just starting to get on that side of it, on the Hollywood side of it. He just got an Oscar for his note to basketball when he retired that they made into a short,
Hmm.
which was awesome. And then the detail, the ESPN Plus show
Oh
detail, that
yeah.
was that was from him. That was, I mean, dude, I was going over it with my son yesterday on all the basketball stuff and just the amount of detail he put into it. I think we saw the James Harden and we saw the Stephen Curry
Hmm.
and dude, I mean that just came from him, and then they made it. The MMA one, they made the football one, they made. I
Yep.
think that, it's crazy, man. Like we that's gone now, So
Hmm.
it is what it is, man.
Yeah, man. And just to close out, I think the lasting image that I'm gonna have is the video of him and his daughter sitting courtside,
Hmm.
and you can see him explaining something to her. You can't really see what he's saying, but you can see her finish his sentence while he's explaining something to her, and the look
Hmm.
of like, "Yes, you're getting it." And I was like, "Man, like it sucks, man. That little girl had so much potential." She said that she seemed like she was gonna have the Mamba mentality. She said she was gonna carry on the legacy of Kobe, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to see that. But yeah, it's hard. It's rough.
Yeah,
But all we can do is move on, man. All we can do is keep going, live day by day, and just realize that every day is not guaranteed, and you just gotta spend all your time you can with your loved ones as you can.
exactly, man. Especially your kids and your family members, man, and
Mhm.
talk more to people and just be good overall, man.
And reach out. Just take a look at Shaq. Kind of take the risk, like the what Shaq's kind of going through right now. My girl said that apparently he's not doing very well because not only did he just lose his sister, but now with Kobe, and we all know him and Kobe weren't always on the best of terms. And I'm pretty sure that if he could do things differently, he probably would have. They would have probably squashed whatever beef they had and just
Hmm.
continued on with whatever they wanted to in the future. Because we all know how great that duo was, but things happen, personal problems happen, but kind of puts things in perspective and realize sometimes, man, those personal problems and personal grudges are not even worth it.
Or not, man. They're really not, man. I saw that thing. Did you see him talking on tonight on the TNT show or
No,
whatever?
I have not watched it.
Dude, he said the last time he talked to him was his last game, where he
Oh
said
man,
he asked him, "Are you gonna put up 50?" And he said at least or something like that. And he put up
yeah,
60, and he put up 61 that game.
yeah,
And that's the last time he talked to him.
damn.
But he knew that his sons had a relationship with them, and they would text. And that morning, Kobe had texted his son to see how he was doing, everything was cool or whatever.
Hmm.
And he texted him back, and his son is the one who told Shaq, you know.
Yeah,
So
man,
so
it's
yeah,
rough.
Shaq's in a spot right now, man.
Yeah, man. So hopefully he gets hopefully he can get better and be able to move on from this because I know he's probably having a hard time. The same with Vanessa Bryant. You know, all love to all the families and all the families of the victims. Same to the kids from the other parents because apparently they got orphaned and it's just
Yeah,
tragic.
yeah,
So,
man.
but let's go ahead and try. Let's try and move on.
Yeah, man.
Um, I finally watched a movie.
Oh yeah, what'd you watch, man?
We watched Joker.
Oh, nice. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I when I finished watching it, I love that final scene, man. Those final scenes, like as soon as he goes on to the Murray show, amazing.
Mhm.
Probably some of the best acting I've seen from Joaquin Phoenix. Amazing. That like I felt everything in that final speech on the Murray show. And I'm not gonna lie, like people said, like, "Oh, you're not gonna really side with him." I kind of get it. Like one of the theaters was like, "Jesus Christ!" Like he in that final scene when he said, like, do you know what you get when you get a mentally ill man that's shit on by the world?" And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what happens. It's tragic, and I remember. I know some people don't really want a sequel. I'd be down for a sequel. I would actually be down for
Well,
a sequel.
I wouldn't want a sequel. I want more of like who he sparked and what happened to the society after him. Because I mean,
Yeah,
from the way they set it up, he obviously sparks like a revolution, or not a revolution, but you know what I mean, like a movement or something.
yeah. He
And
sparked a movement, but then you can kind of tell like the fact that he's in the asylum at the end. Spoiler alert.
yeah,
I
but
guess
he's running around, and you know what
he's
I mean,
running
like
around.
he.
I love that little. I love that little part about on the like on the bottom of his feet. Like he just walks out he walks out the room and there's real
Yeah,
blood on the floor and I'm just like ah like
yeah,
he killed her and my girl was like what? How do you know? I was like look at the floor.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, so great movie. I still think I put Adam Driver's performance above his. I don't
Whoa.
necessarily think I would put him above, but I still got to watch the other ones because from what I heard is that Antonio Banderas' performance in Pain and Glory is something crazy. So I'm
I
not
haven't
done.
seen it.
I'm not gonna make any decisions. Yeah, I'm not
You
gonna make
still
my
haven't seen
decisions.
The Irishman either.
No, I haven't. Sorry. There's a lot of wrestling to watch this past week. I caught up on AEW, NXT,
Yeah.
and NXT Worlds Collide and all that. So now that I'm caught up a little bit, I can actually watch. I'll probably watch it tomorrow on my lunch break.
What was I watching? I was watching The Messiah a little bit last week, and I
Mhm.
watched right now earlier today we were watching the live action Lion King on Disney Plus a little bit. Messiah's all right, man. It's weird. I don't know where it's
Yeah,
going.
it's
You
fine.
know, yeah, it's all right. It's nothing
I'm
nothing
sure.
crazy. Nothing too
Yeah, I've
crazy.
heard like not great things, but I've heard not bad things either.
Oh, you know what I've been watching? Like I mentioned before, I'm telling you every week. The Outsider, man, on HBO, dude.
Yeah,
It's legit, dude.
yeah,
It's
that's one
legit,
I gotta
man.
watch. I gotta watch that, and I gotta watch Watchmen because I didn't watch Watchmen either.
Oh, dude, Watchmen. I'm so frustrated with Watchmen though, dude.
Why?
Cause he what the guy who did it is what's his name? Is it David Fincher?
Um,
No,
Watchmen. No, it's God damn it! It's the guy that does that did like Lost and all that. I
J.J.
can't.
Abrams.
No, it's the other guy.
Okay,
Dang it! I'm trying to remember so hard. I can't not remember. Oh man, he did that. He did Lost. He did the leftovers. Why the hell am I blanking on his name? Hold on, I'm about to look it up because this is gonna kill me if I don't look it up.
well I don't know, man, but basically, whoever that guy is, we're basically not getting a part two, a second
Yeah, I heard.
season.
Where is it? 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 Produce Damon Lindelof.
Oh yeah.
Lindelof.
We're not getting a part two, man. That kind of
Yeah, I heard.
irks my craw, man. It really does.
It's something about like I get like I don't know, maybe I'm just selfish, but when it comes to things like because people don't want a sequel of Joker, people don't want a sequel of this, and I'm just like I guess I'm one of those people that like if I like something, I want more. I might not don't obviously don't beat it to death, but like if the story can naturally go in another direction, like I can picture another Joker, you know, like
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean,
see where it goes.
I get it, dude. I'm the same way, but I like to see. I just like to see continuation of the story, man. Like
Hmm.
it's just if it's a good story and you keep telling it the same way and you have the same stakes, why
Yeah,
not? You know, why not? That's a cool world to be in. That's a cool world to explore, especially Watchmen, man, and just how different it is from the original. The original story and canon or whatever. It's just real
yeah.
interesting to me, and it's cool how they did it.
The fact that it was basically a sequel to the comics, which is kind of cool. You don't really see that very often. Instead of the sequel to the movie,
The movie,
you
yeah,
have to go to the comics. But I mean I love the movie. The movie I think is very good. I know
a
people
movie, yeah.
don't necessarily like it, but I like it
I
a
don't know
lot.
why. I don't know why they don't like it. It's different, man. It's so
Yeah,
different. Just
the
it's all
director's cut's amazing. If you watch the
yeah,
director's cut,
yeah.
it's
I've seen it.
amazing. It's long as hell, but it's really good.
They're usually long as hell when it's a director's cut
Yeah,
because they want
that's
to put
true.
in all their stuff, you know.
That's a Zack Snyder. That's a Snyder cut that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I don't need this. I don't need the Snyder cut of Justice League. Justice League was already bad. I don't need to watch
release the
it.
Snyder cut, you cowards.
No, it was like what was so different. I just want to know what is so different about this Snyder cut. I understand
Dude,
that there's like maybe
supposedly it's like a
things, but
completely different movie, man.
I didn't. I don't. I guess I just don't. I don't want to watch two bad Justice League movies. You know?
You can't sit through two bad ones.
Yeah. Like what if this one's so good? Then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, why did they release a Snyder
Well,
cut?"
would
You
you?
can't be
Okay,
good
well,
for
like
it.
that's a good question. Would you be okay with sitting through one bad one, which you already have, and semi decent one? Like, where does it go where it's okay? Like, where it's a not bad, semi decent, decent. Like, what does it have to be for you to like make that decision? Like, it was worth it, I guess.
If it's worth releasing, it's got to be good. It
Has to
can't
be
just
good.
has to be
When
good.
yeah, but like you can't say that where you know what the movie is. Like you can't go from here to here, because
But
they would have released this one. You know what
okay,
I mean? Like
if all
like
right,
incremental.
if the, all right, I don't know, man. Like I just come on. Sorry, how you gonna bark at me, but you don't want to go outside? You don't make sense. Go away from me. All right, sorry about that. I just like I said, I just don't want a bad one. It's that movie should have been so easy to make. Like that movie should be
Dude, they had
extremely easy to make.
they had who they had? They had Will Smith, Mark. What's
No,
up,
no,
Mark?
you're thinking of Suicide Squad. I'm
Oh, you
talking
talking
about
about?
Justice League.
No, you're talking about yeah. So they had still they had Gal Gadot. They had what's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Big Hawaiian dude. What's his name?
You got Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that guy. And then you had the Flash guy.
Yeah, you got Ezra Miller. You got amazing people to work with. And then, dude, that freaking end credit scene is amazing with Deathstroke. It's a
I don't know.
fantastic end credit scene, and there's nowhere to go with it because
Martha.
you made a bad movie. I don't hate that as much as I don't hate BVS. I like BVS. BVS is fine. But once again, that movie should have made a lot more money and should have done a lot better. It's something about I get what they're trying to do, but it didn't work.
Well, I was just thinking too, because I just saw Shazam 2 with my son the other day again. I
So
know,
good.
like, how could they make that movie
I
and
don't know,
then
man.
I don't understand it, man. And then
But
supposedly it's in the same universe because Superman comes out at the end, even though it's just his
yeah,
torso.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that first of all, BVS should have been Man of Steel 2, not BVS.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel is probably top 3 of the DCEU movies for
Mm-hmm.
me. Shazam's up there too, so it might be like Wonder Woman, Shazam, Man of Steel for like my favorite ones because
What
Shazam
about
is amazing.
what about Wonder Woman? Where's
I
that?
said Wonder Woman,
Oh,
Shazam, and Man of Steel are probably the top three.
I mean that has to be it, dude. If you pick anything else, that's kind of like,
Yeah, Aquaman was good too, but I think
mm,
my favorite part of that was the trench. Uh, when you see
yeah,
the trench,
that when it was all going crazy and stuff.
yeah, and then when I see that, and then like, okay, I'd be down for a trench movie, especially with James Wan. Yes, yes, with
That'd be
James
dope.
Wan, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, but I guess that's our superhero talk. Not really much else to talk about in terms of superheroes. You got anything? Marvel, DC, it's kind of it. I
Hold
think
on.
that's it. We
My
didn't get
bad.
any trailers this week, did we?
No, but we got a teaser right now for Fast and the Furious 9.
Yeah, which I haven't. I haven't even seen Fate of the Furious.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw either. I need to see
Me either.
those. But man, I mean, hey, 9, well, 10 in basically, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I think Hobbs and Shaw is getting a sequel, if I'm not mistaken.
And it doesn't look like Hobbs is in this one, dude. It doesn't look like it.
No, he's not. That's why they're gonna. I think they're gonna make a Hobbs and Shaw 2, and then he's gonna be in. I think he's supposed to be in Fast 10. This series is never gonna end, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I don't hate the fact that it's never gonna end.
Dude, I
But
don't know how Vin Diesel finagled his way into owning it and
they
just
gotta go to space, bro. They
and
gotta
he's
go to space. They gotta go to space.
that would be awesome, man. I would watch that. How would they make cars in space? Would they make them like the Jetsons?
No, I don't know. No, it'd be like the.
The Great Moon Heist. They gotta heist the moon somehow.
It's gotta be, man. Like there's like Nazis over there on the moon or something. Who
On the
knows?
dark side of it, you know, the dark
Yes,
side.
yes, absolutely. Run into some aliens or something. Who knows? It'd be fun. But all right, man. What else? Anything else that we can talk about in this past week of movies?
On the past of movies, not that I can think of from a movie standpoint. I'm just thinking, no, not really. I mean, there's nothing else. There's nothing really else right now.
All right.
Everything's kind of still.
All right, we got Super Bowl coming up. Who you got?
I gotta go with Patrick Mahomes. I've been picking against the 49ers all playoffs, and it's been biting me in the ass.
You're going with your homeboy, my
homeboy Patrick Mahomes, just because that's kind of how a franchise should be run when you have a talent like that, not promoting a guy to a general manager, which we can talk about that if you want to. But
I just don't really want to because I don't have anything nice to say. And I was taught if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I was taught say what's on your mind.
I said that sarcastically because I always say bad things.
Dude, it's just I don't know, man. I think it was what's his name, Parker, that said we just gotta wait him out. I'm like, man, this dude, he has to have something on the McNair family or something, dude. Like
he has to.
He ain't going nowhere, man. He ain't going nowhere. He's gonna have to have 2 seasons of going like 2-14 or 3-13 in a row.
And like I've said before, if it was like the announcement that he was gonna be the general manager, but he was giving away his head coaching duties, and then they were gonna find a head coach, I'd be like,
yeah, right, dude.
Let's do that. But no, it's he's gonna be the head coach. He's gonna be the GM and the head coach. And we're gonna bring in some guy to do executive vice president of football operations. But we really know that just means he's just gonna kind of just collect a paycheck, and Bill O'Brien's gonna be doing everything. It's ridiculous.
And that statement that Cal McNair put out, dude, it just makes it worse, dude.
I haven't even seen it. I don't want to.
We went from 3 potentially awesome owners and organizations to 0. I mean, when Bob McNair was here, it's a great organization. He doesn't get character issue guys. He's trying to win, like we thought they were trying to win. Bringing in Brian Gain and all this stuff, and then to work with O'Brien, and O'Brien's the whisperer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then on the baseball side, we got Jim Crane. He's not about money. He's about winning. And if he has to spend money, he will. Look at the trades he made. He pushed, Luna for Verlander and for Greinke. And then the scandal happens, and he just cuts everybody and says, all right, screw it. And I'm not behind you because I got to save face. And then the Rockets, now we get Tillman Fertitta. We're like, yay, Tillman Fertitta. And then Tillman Fertitta starts being a cheap ass. and everything's about cost cutting and all these rumors about no toilet paper in here and this and that and him responding, I can guarantee you there's toilet paper and whatever, like stuff like that. It's just, dude, what happened to Houston sports and their ownership, man? Like, what happened? Where did we go wrong? Because all of a sudden we're in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah. Hold on, just have a little bit of an announcement to make. Boom, dude. Angel just sent this right now. Said he's signing up for the $5 tier. So I totally forgot to mention it again. I'm so unprofessional. Go to the link in this video right here and go to the Patreon and sign up for the Patreon. As you can see right now, Angel just signed up for the $5 tier, and that is gonna be basically he's gonna have a question that he can ask every show, basically. And so he's the very first member of the $5 tier, but you can continue that by becoming another member of the $5 tier. There's also the $3 tier where you can have a personal shout out. Also, Angel gets a personal shout out every week. And the $1 tier where you get access to the Patreon feed, where once we have more people, we will have people, we will have more conversations there. But now that Angel's there, we will be posting there for sure.
Yeah, and Angel, you didn't miss anything. We just talked about Batman versus Superman. We talked about any trailers, and the only trailer that we talked about was we got a teaser for the Fast and the Furious 9. And then Alex said he can't wait until the Fast and the Furious goes into space with rockets and pew 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 and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. See some aliens or something would be awesome. Also, a little shout out that I just got on Facebook. I posted this in the Combat Wrestling Trivia Facebook group. Where we do some great wrestling trivia. It's always fun there. Your boy's going to be getting a number one contender shots pretty soon, so I'm studying up for that. But my friend Sue Brath actually just said that he's going to be making us a custom thumbnail so we can use to post for the show.
Oh, nice, man! That's awesome.
Yeah, so thank you, Sue Brath. Really appreciate that. I'll make sure to message him on Twitter and on Facebook and let him know that. So big things happening here, guys. It's going to be awesome.
Dude, it's like a steady grind. It's like. I mean, we're like crawling. We're crawling right now, man, but we're going to start running soon. Y'all going to see.
Absolutely, man. So also real quick before we start on the UFC stuff, real quick, I don't know much about this, but what do you think about the Dusty Baker hire for the Astros?
So, man, to me, I like it and I hate it at the same time. I like it because Dusty Baker is a winner. I know people say he hasn't won a championship and blah, blah, but the dude's a winner. He's a player's coach. He knows the game. He's been around the game. He's a lifer, so he knows what's up. I think one of the reasons why they picked him was because he went through the whole steroid scandal with Barry Bonds. He had a lot of media attention on him and his team, and they were still able to win. Yeah, I think they got to a World Series. They didn't win it, but they got to it. So I think that's why. The thing that I don't like about it is he's like completely anti-analytical guy. He goes on old school baseball stuff, gut feeling, stuff like that. He manages by the book, the old book, stuff like that. And another thing too, I think he had like he made some dumb comment that keeps coming up about having African American and Hispanic players that they play better in the summer than white players or something like that. And I think that kind of rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some other guys that I probably would have preferred more, but I'm not upset at the Dusty Baker one. I mean, I'll hold my judgment because I think, I mean, another thing too, it's kind of messed up to the Ferrari. You just got to drive it. You know, so he doesn't have to do much. The only thing is, I feel Verlander's arm and Greinke's arm and whoever else's arm we have is gonna fall off because he freaking like wears his damn starters to the ground and he does not know how to manage a bullpen, but Hinch didn't really manage the bullpen that well either.
No, yeah, we know that.
So I don't know, man. We'll see. I think we're fine. I mean, Vegas still has the Astros at 90 plus wins, still winning the division. So we'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping for some big stuff. As I've said, when you get caught cheating, all you can do is win a championship.
Shut everybody up.
Yeah, once you win a championship, they stop talking about the cheating because you just proved that you can win. So. Yeah,
I'm hoping that it's a lot of what the Patriots did. They got caught cheating in that first Super Bowl, and then they win and they won all the rest of them, and just everybody just shut up and said, okay, they would have won either way with cheating or without cheating. Yep. So that's kind of what I want to happen.
Kind of the same thing happened with the Deflate Gate. They kind of went away pretty quickly. So
but Deflate Gate is actually a really good comparison because I guarantee you, man, it wasn't only him messing with the balls. Like other quarterbacks were doing the same thing. I think they even said like Peyton Manning liked his with a little bit more air in it. You
Yeah.
know, so it
Yeah.
was like a known secret, I guess, amongst everybody. It's the same
Yeah.
thing as
Exactly.
the sign stealing stuff. So whatever, man.
Exactly. It's just like Joe Girardi said. It's kind of what we go through with the game nowadays, and it's just you don't hear more people talking. You don't hear teams coming out and kind of talking against the Astros because of the fact that they know that they're guilty as well.
Yeah, they don't want to throw stones in that glass house, man.
Yeah, because as soon as you start, yeah, this is ridiculous. Like blah blah blah, the Astros should give away because literally the only people that are talking are fans and analysts, and you know how analysts get they're very we've learned with Stephen A. Smith, they usually just talk out loud. They talk loud and try
Oh,
to
dude.
be the big guy. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's a big thing to talk about too.
Yeah, because I just recently listened to Joe Rogan's podcast with Josh Thompson. Great podcast. That was a great show.
Josh Thompson's he's always been a good like content interview guy. Like he just has
I'm
so
definitely
many
gonna listen to his podcast now.
Yeah,
The one that he has with Big John McCarthy. I'm definitely gonna listen to it. So that was a fun show. I'm excited to listen to these next two shows. I think he has Usman on. He had Usman on yesterday, and he had Frankie Edgar on today. So
your boy Usman.
Yes, my boy. Unfortunately, I have to own it.
Dude, you have to, man.
I jumped on the bandwagon really early, and it kind of bit me.
It's burning you right now.
It is. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the UFC Fight Night, man. Taking place from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I just want to talk first off about this opening fight. Herbert.
Hold on. You hear that? Hold on.
What happened?
I must be the greatest. I told the world.
Hold on.
I talk to God every day. If God's with me, can't nobody be against me.
You hear it?
Shake my hand.
I hear it.
Now you must.
Hold on.
The champ is here.
Oh, that's what that is.
Okay.
That's what that is. Come on, man. How you gonna go into the card and you're not gonna respect this right here? What is this?
I didn't look at it. But was it bad?
It was bad. It was bad.
All right. You won the first one of the year. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, we brought this back from this past year, where we predict the entire UFC card, whether and it's mostly whether if I know the fighters or not. And I was on a kind of a roll before the end of the year, but we lost some people. I mean, we lost some time not doing it for a while, and it was just our first time back, and apparently I lost.
Oh, I mean, there's losing, and then there's what happened to you in this fight card.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. We'll go through the picks as we go through the fights.
Yeah, we'll go through the picks. I'm just messing with you, man. It's the first picks of the year. I mean, sometimes, like you said, I feel like we need to maybe mess with it a little bit to get it better. Dude, you're on mute. I don't know if you know that you're on mute. We need to fix it to get it a little bit better. Just because I don't know, I don't want the win to go off of like preliminary cards, like you said, or like the early prelims, because I know some of those myself, but I know you might not know all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it just sucks to lose on the first three fights if we have the rest of them the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. But it's cool because I don't mind it because of the fact that I take it as like I'm learning, because then like next time they come up on a fight card, I know who they are now. Like I don't normally forget it, because especially because I'll go back and check. Oh, who were their last fights? Oh, I do remember that fight. Blah blah blah. So I don't take too much. I don't. It doesn't hurt me too bad. I mean, it hurts to lose, but if I'm losing on something where it really could have gone either way, it doesn't hurt. Especially if it was like a decision, if it was like a crazy fight and they just kind of go back and forth. I don't know if that's what happened this time, but it's okay.
It's all right, man. I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happened to me all last year at the end of the year. But I think, I gave you your little time to shine, but now it's in the rightful place. I'm going to put it up here somewhere, right there. On championship right there.
Go ahead.
All right, man. So let's start talking about the first one. You want to talk about which was the Burns and what's the guy's name?
Burns and Landwehr, maybe something like that, something along those lines.
It was
And we both picked the same guy.
Landwehr. Yeah, we both picked Burns.
Both picked Burns, even though I don't love his brother. I don't really care much for Gilbert Burns. I think he's kind of for someone who likes to talk, he's kind of a boring fighter.
Yeah, but he is a fighter. Like he's been his brother, absolutely. Not this Burns, not the Burns that fought, but this guy's brother. He takes a lot of fights, man. Like he'll fight anybody, and absolutely. That you gotta respect that at least. But yeah, man, this guy, I don't know the fight. Herbert Burns, right before the end. So I guess describe the ending, man, because the ending was really exciting.
Yes, the ending was very exciting. So these two guys really going at it in the beginning. It seemed like Herbert kind of did have the advantage on the ground, but they finally stood up, and man, Landwehr was landing some shots. He landed a few shots where you're just like, this fight might go the other way.
Yeah, he looked hurt, right? He looked rocked.
Yes, and then all of a sudden,
out of nowhere,
Herbert Burns lands this nasty knee that just lays Landwehr out.
Lights out.
Insane. And it's one of those things that it wasn't luck, because I think he realized, you know what? I think he landed a few knees to the body earlier in the clinch. He landed some knees to the body earlier, realized, you know what? I can get this guy. He saw his opportunity, grabbed him in a clinch, and just knee to the face. And you could see where it was the kneecap that landed straight to the jaw. And I think I want to say it was Cormier that said that normally lands with the thigh. It's normally like a thigh to the jaw. You don't normally hit you.
It's like the upper knee, I guess you would say.
Yeah, like you don't normally hit with the bone, like with your patella. He even like specifically said, you don't normally land with the patella, and that's exactly what he did. And Landwehr was out cold, and all of a sudden you have Dana in a position where he's got to say, this man's not going to be on the first fight of the card anymore.
Yeah, dude. Like when you do that and you open the card, I mean, it's good for Dana because it opens the fight with the spectacular knockout and it gets people excited. But then also that's probably the last time he's going to be on the opening fight, because that dude has a lot of, I don't know, man. He took a lot of shots and then he knocked the dude out. So I mean, it's pretty exciting. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, hold on. I'm about to look up the performance bonuses. I don't know who got them for.
I think he got one.
I'm assuming he did.
Blades got one, and I think Hill got one, maybe.
Let me see. We have
Angela Hill, not the other Hill.
So no, we have Alex Perez and Herbert Burns got the performance of the night, and Brett Johns versus Tony Gravely got the fight of the night.
Okay.
So I like that. That's the Brett Johns and Tony Gravely fight was really good, which we were going to jump into right now. This is a bantamweight fight. Oh, well, with featherweight, all I can say is I just want to see Herbert Burns fight more.
Man, featherweight is this year's welterweight and lightweight, dude, because it's stacked, man.
Yeah.
So 145 is going to be the one to watch this year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's at the bottom of the rung. He's starting out at 145 in the UFC. So
yeah,
we'll see,
absolutely.
Man.
But I honestly could see if he's just like his brother, seeing him taking the fight pretty quickly. And Dana's probably itching to get him back in the octagon. So
true.
I'm gonna be probably paying attention a lot to Herbert Burns. Let's go ahead and jump into the next fight. At bantamweight, we have John Jones. I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking of next week. We got Brett Johns taking on Tony Gravely, and this is another. So we forgot to mention Herbert Burns won the Dana White's Contender Series.
Oh yeah.
And this is another Contender Series guy, Tony Gravely, who was pretty dominant in his fight against. I don't have it in front of me, but it's pretty dominant in his. Dana White Contender Series fight. This one was a little bit different, although it could have really. I think the first round is completely Brett Johns. Brett Johns owned him. I think almost choked him out at one point in the first round. Tony Gravely was basically standing up with Brett Johns on his back the entire round, and the fact that his legs weren't completely gone surprised me. Surprised the hell out of me for sure. But then that second round, Tony Gravely kind of comes in and does what Brett Johns did in the first round, and does that to Brett Johns. But the third round kind of sealed it. kind of going back and forth, but then I think it was Brett Jones kind of took him to the ground again and just kind of dominated him for the rest of the round and sealing up the win for him. So
it says you got a submission.
did you get the submission? I had it in front of me. Damn it. Yeah, the submission. So yeah, the submission victory. Brett Jones, definitely worth fight of the night. I didn't watch a lot of the other fights, but this is definitely a really good back and forth fight. That if Gravely doesn't get submitted, who knows what the decision would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But he got caught. But I will say he did not seem to have the UFC jitters, as we've seen so many of the Contender Series guys or even debuting people come in and kind of have the UFC jitters. But Gravely seemed to, maybe he had him in that first round, but shook out of it, and unfortunately got caught with submission. But definitely still impressive.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, man. I'm gonna have to go back and see it. I usually go back and see the finishes, and I just haven't had time. But I'm definitely gonna go back and see this one.
Okay, definitely do it. It's definitely worth it to go back and watch. But yeah, so same thing with bantamweight. Bantamweight is kind of in limbo, if you would say. Like, just kind of don't know where it's gonna go, especially with the fact that now we're supposedly getting Jose versus Cejudo, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm not the matchmaker, so.
I mean, I just feel like I think this kind of proves what I had been talking about with Dana White, and when you got somebody like Cejudo who accomplished a lot last year, not only inside the octagon and the wins he has against Dillashaw and against Moraes to be a double champion, but also outside of the octagon and his star rising on a national level. The power that he has as a fighter, and willing to dictate who he wants to fight. And look, the thing is, he doesn't have. I mean, he has an argument. He doesn't have the greatest argument, but he can say Jose Aldo won that fight against Moraes.
Yeah,
he can say that.
He can.
But historically speaking, that's never worked before. That's never held water. But because he has the power that he has, and he's Triple C, Dana's listening, because Dana thinks that, hey man, whatever this dude does is gold right now, and he's gonna sell pay-per-view. So, and if you look at it, like, for me, it doesn't make sense, but he did win that fight in my book. I thought he beat Moraes, and Moraes is a top contender, probably number 1 or number 2 in that division after the champ.
Yeah,
that beat him. So that's a big win. And you also have a big name because you're a former champion yourself, and Triple C wants to fight. So I guess if we see the Jose Aldo that fought Moraes fight Cejudo, it's gonna be a decent fight.
A good fight.
Yeah, I don't know about good. I don't know about good because, I mean, you've seen Triple C's a different monster, man. Like,
yeah,
he's smart, he's fast, he's powerful, he's a wrestler. I mean. And he beat Moraes at the stand up first, and then he took him down. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Jose Aldo is really, really drawn at 135, and Moraes is a perfect matchup for him because he's a striker.
Yeah, yeah, but it also means that guys like Aljamain Sterling have to take a back seat because of the fact that they're kind of letting Jose Aldo cut the line. So.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks at that point, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, we'll go to the next fight, which is the first of my losses, apparently. It is in the women's bantamweight division. Sarah McCann, Lena Landsberg.
McMahon.
Oh, McMahon. Sorry, McMahon. Lena Landsberg, the Elbow Queen. And I thought the Elbow Queen was going to get it done, but I was wrong. I don't know. I didn't see this fight though, so I don't know how what happened. It was by decision. I'm not sure if it was unanimous.
Well, it was close in the beginning, and then McMahon kind of took over. And McMahon, dude, she's been around forever, man, and she's just tough as nails. And she's just a bad matchup for a lot of people, except for the very top of the division. So I mean, she just did what Sarah McMahon does: is kind of grind them out and start beating them up, and that's what she did.
Right.
So. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't watch it. You don't have to watch that one.
All right, cool. I won't then. Probably like the other one, this doesn't really hold much weight in the rankings at all for the
Mhm.
bantamweight division.
Mhm.
All right, let's go ahead and go to another bantamweight fight. This time in the men's division with Montel Jackson taking on Felipe Colares.
This is one that I didn't watch. Did you get a chance to watch this?
I did not get a chance to watch this one.
This-
But I had Jackson. Did you have Jackson as well?
I
Yes,
had
you did.
Jackson.
So we
Yeah.
both had Jackson, and that is who won.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah. So next one, women's flyweight, another one that I lost. Justine Keech taking on Lucy Pudilova. This is one of those ones I didn't know much about either of these women, so that's where I was kind of just I read a couple like previews and went on my gut.
Yeah, Keisha's been kind of an up and comer. She did good. She and Pudilova, she's good too. But she's not, I guess, well rounded. You could say. So I just thought Keisha had more for her, and she did. She ended up beating her, but she kind of dominated that fight from bell to bell.
Bell to bell. Flyweight division, maybe one that might open up a little bit more. With we have the fight coming up, but if Shevchenko wins and she's gonna need another challenger, and that's kind of open up because she's kind of beating everybody else at the top of the division. Maybe Justin Keech can start making some waves. Who knows?
We'll see, man.
We'll see. All right, next up we have Arnold Allen, Nick Lentz, featherweight division. As I think you know that I've actually after I first saw Arnold Allen and became a fan of his, that he's a really good fighter. And this is one that kind of got put together, if I'm not mistaken, at the very like close to the weigh-ins, if I'm not mistaken, like pretty close to the fight for sure. Arnold Allen though gets the victory via decision, and this is one of those ones that does have a little bit of standing in the rankings of the featherweight division, because featherweight division is actually kind of going to be, I think, also going to be really good, just as it was like a little bit last year. This year it could be even better. This might be the one that this might be also the lightweight. If what did we say earlier? If what were we comparing the was it featherweight? It might have been featherweight. Featherweight division is going to be that one, like you said earlier. The welterweight, the lightweight.
Last year's welterweight and last year's lightweight.
Definitely.
That's featherweight this year.
Like when guy
especially with guys like Arnold Allen. You got Calvin Qatar's at 145, right?
Yeah, and he actually got a shout out on Joe Rogan's podcast with Josh Thompson, because he mentioned Qatar as one of those underdogs that he thinks could have a big year.
Yeah, man.
Division. He actually saying that if that Zabit fight was 5 rounds, Qatar might have finished him.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we both saw Zabit getting tired in that last round, and he kept looking at the clock. So this fight, man, did you watch this fight between Allen and Lentz or no?
No, this is one I didn't watch also.
So I watched this fight, man, and this fight was really close. They gave it to Arnold Allen. I mean, I don't want to say they gave it to him, but they gave it to him. Like, he didn't lose, but he didn't win. In other words, like, it was that close. So just so you know, check this out. So total strikes for Arnold Allen, 68 out of 137. Total strikes for Nick Lentz, 63 out of 190. So it was kind of close.
Yeah.
Lentz was busier, but Allen had more significant strikes. Lentz went for 9 takedowns, and he got 0 of them. I think that was a big factor. He couldn't take him down.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Allen won. But it was a close fight, man. It was pretty well matched. I think that helps. I feel like whenever they're well matched and they're coming up in their career, like Arnold Allen, it kind of helps round them out. Like, okay, he's fought a guy that's tried to take him down a lot of times, and he knows that Nick Lentz isn't the greatest wrestler in the world. So if somebody's a better wrestler than Lentz, they're gonna take him down. So and they're gonna be, dogs like that, like 9-10 times trying to take him down. So he's gonna have to shore up his wrestling game more, and know that that's kind of something that they might be looking at to take advantage of on him.
Yeah. Question though, if this was Josh Emmett, how do you think this fight would have ended? Because Arnold Allen was scheduled to take on Josh Emmett. So how do you think that would have went? You think it would have been a decision as well, or you think that Emmett would have finished him?
I think Emmett probably would have won, dude. Because from what I saw, Allen was getting hit a lot, dude. So he probably needs to shore up some of his defense too. And you can tell by the strikes on significant strikes. Lentz had 49 out of 172.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like a lot, but he landed a total of 63. So 49 out of his 63 landed strikes. So that's like, I don't know, 70% or something crazy like that, 80%. The are significant strikes.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, and Emmett, I mean, Emmett has a bunch of power. Emmett just lost. So who did Emmett lose to?
I'm not sure. You have to look at that. But Arnold Allen is ranked number 15, so it looks like this isn't going to hurt him, but it also doesn't help him. This win didn't really help him at all. If he was going to take this fight, which
No. Emmett just beat Bektik. Remember, he beat Bektik.
Oh, Mirsad Bektik, yeah.
Yeah, and then he beat Michael Johnson before that.
Okay,
He's
so
done a 2-fight win streak. So, yeah, man, and he's ranked higher, right?
yeah, Josh Emmett's at number 9.
Yeah, he's. I think he would have won that fight, man. So
yeah,
I mean, that's another thing. He gets a little bit of a pass by not having to fight him.
Yeah, he gets a pass, but I mean, like I said, it didn't do anything for him. This win did nothing for him. Like
he's gonna have to go through Emmett at one point.
Yeah, he is absolutely. All right, let's move on to the middleweight fight. We have Bevon Lewis taking on Daquan Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull up the thing. I had Townsend. You had Lewis. So this is another L for me. Great. Did you watch this fight?
I didn't watch this fight. I did watch some highlights of it, but I can just tell by the stats. 94 total strikes compared to 55.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Think about that. He had more than what is it, featherweights before?
Yeah.
He had 36 significant strikes to 28, and he had 3 takedown attempts. Lewis did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of high on Lewis. I think he faltered earlier. Last year, I think. But he fought a tough dude, I believe. Another guy that's a prospect, and he was 7-1, and that made him, or 6-1, that made him 6-2. Let me see. Yeah, he fought Darren Stewart. Remember Darren Stewart?
Yeah.
So he fought Darren Stewart, and that fight was, I mean, pretty much rock'em sock'em, and some wrestling mixed in, and like both of those guys came out winners. In other words, So whenever I saw him fighting somebody, I was like, if they don't have the same gumption, the same, dog in them, to want to fight and to be a fighter, I wasn't gonna pick against them. In other words,
Yeah.
And when I saw it was Townsend and I saw his record and I looked him up and I started seeing some fights, I was like, nah. I mean, Lewis got this one.
All right. Well, you got the win on that one, so congratulations.
That's up 2. I'm up 2 right there, right?
You're up 2. You're up 2 because Kish and
Lewis.
Yeah.
All right.
So next up, we have Jamaha Hill taking on Darko Stosic in a light heavyweight bout. This one was actually one I was really excited for because I wanted to see Jamaha Hill when he was supposed to fight in China, but as we know, he had visa issues going into that fight, so he was not able to fight, and unfortunately, it took this long to get one, which is kind of surprising because that fight was way back in, I want to say in September, if I'm not mistaken.
The China fight was in October.
Was it October?
I think so.
That's still a long time to wait after that. So,
3.5 months.
Kind of surprised it took him this long to get it, but we finally got it. And not really the showing I wanted to see from Jamaha Hill. Definitely not what I was expecting.
But Stolcic is a tough dude, man. Like, he's not a scrub,
Yeah, he is. And I guess the thing that I had a problem with Jamaha Hill was that a lot of his punches were kind of wild. They weren't as controlled as I would want to see from someone, especially coming out of that impressive showing he had in the Contender Series.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that he wasn't as controlled, he really has to get that down.
But that should just tell you too the sometimes the competition in the Contender Series isn't UFC level.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Definitely. So, I mean, at the same time, he's stuck in there with someone who's tough as nails.
And he got the W, man.
Yeah, he's got the W. I don't necessarily think that. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it maybe. But when I was watching the first time, I was a little tipsy. I will say that. But when I was watching, I think I had Stosic winning. I know that was a split decision. So at least one judge agreed with me. But that's also just from what I was seeing, and also I was a little inebriated at the time.
Well, dude, check this out, man. I want to go back and see this fight now.
Yeah, you see the strikes are insane.
Yes, dude, and the takedowns are there. Yeah.
So it's like it's tough. It was a tough way to call it. So you would think you have to assume that if the judge that saw the takedowns, the only thing about the takedowns is that they came at opportune times. Is I think what got
dude. But these strikes are like ridiculous, dude. He threw 236 strikes. He landed 102 of them. And 101 of them were significant strikes. Dang, this dude needs to learn a jab, man. Come on, dude.
And I think that's the problem. Is a lot of those strikes that he was throwing, even though a lot of them hit, a lot of them were also kind of wild and missing. You know, if you throw 200 and hit 100, it's still not very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a surefire way to basically just wind yourself. You know, just tired at the end, and I think that might have been why. Also, he doesn't really have great takedown defense. Definitely needs to work on that when you get taken down 6 times out of 9. So
yeah, it's not good.
Definitely some stuff that he needs to go work on. But you know, this is something he can go take to the bank. He got to win. He won his UFC debut. Go to the drawing board, and I think I said that even at the end whenever I was sitting with my brother and them, and I just said like he's got lots that he needs to go home and work on, and you know, learn from it.
Mm-hmm. Stosic, on the other hand, is alternating. Actually, he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
That's not good.
That's not good, man. You know what happens at 3.
Mm-hmm. Might be getting a call from Dana soon. All right, let's get to the third of my losses. Hannah Cifers, Angela Hill. Go ahead. I didn't watch this fight.
I watched this fight, man. I don't know why, man. I've always followed Angela Hill since she was on The Ultimate Fighter. And I've told you before, like, she's just, I mean, I think she fought in Bellator or somewhere else. Oh, no, Invicta, I think it was. And she did good over there. She came over to the UFC. She's always been wanting to be in the UFC. And every time she fights, man, something happens. Like, she just can't put it together. But you can see her. You can see her, like, giving it her all. And, like, she wants to win so bad, man. And either it's just bad matchups or she just goes up against a buzzsaw or something.
Yeah.
And when I saw she was going up against Cifers, I seen Cifers' last fight, and I was like, man, I don't think Cifers has what it takes to stick with the momentum and the pace that Hill has. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, man, this fight, dude, she just sunned her. You know, she basically just beat her post to post.
Yeah.
And then took her down, and then TKO'd her on the floor.
Yeah, man. I think I was just riding the hot hand. I know Cifers is on, but she's on a 2-fight win streak, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me see. Yeah, I think so.
I think it was 2. So I was like, I'm gonna ride the hot hand. She looked pretty good in her last fight. She's horrible on the mic still, but I was like, let me see. I'm gonna ride with her. She let me down, so you know I gotta take the L. That was my last of my losses this for the rest of the fight card, but.
Yeah, look at this, dude.
This one was pretty bad.
Since she was 6-2, she alternated wins and losses, and she's lost to this is Hill. Mm-hmm. She lost to Jessica Andrade, Nina Ansaroff, Courtney Casey, Randa Marcos, Yang Jonan, and then the last 2 she beat Hannah Cifers and Ariane Carnelosi by TKO. So she's kind of putting it together. She's 35 years old. I feel like she doesn't have the power in that division, and she tries to make up for it with volume.
Yeah,
and she keeps it toward pace, man. But sometimes, dude, that power just is too much. So I don't know, man. As long as she's finding people that are around her size that don't have too much power, I think she'll do all right because she doesn't have the greatest of defense. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just knew she was gonna win that fight.
Well, you were right. As I said, I was riding the hot hand because Cifers actually, since she lost to Macy Barber in November of 2018, she had a win against Poliana Viana and a win against Estabel. However, they were decision wins, so you know. And then her loss to Barber was a TKO. So, and this loss as well was a TKO. So maybe something when she faces maybe better fighters, she just has a hard time.
I think when she faces volume punchers that because like Barber, she's a power puncher, man. She's more of a power puncher.
Mm-hmm. She'll get you. She'll probably hurt you with her power and then find a way to take you down.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I gotta go back and see that fight too, but I don't know. I mean, Cyphers is still young. She has a lot more time left in the game.
Definitely. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure we'll see more from her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead. The flyweight division: Jordan Espinosa, Alex Perez. I read up on Alex Perez, and I was as soon as I read up on him, I was like, I'm paying this guy because just hearing how explosive he is, and apparently he didn't disappoint this time.
Nope. Round 1 submission. Do you remember the submission that he got? Is this the one where the guy fell asleep?
I don't remember. I didn't watch this one.
Yeah, I think the guy fell asleep, and he was telling the ref, "Hey, this guy's asleep." I think.
Wow.
You gotta double check it.
That's insane. We'll have to go check that out for sure. But Alex Perez getting the win, the flyweight division. I don't believe he's ranked. I'm looking right now. Nope, not ranked. Alex Perez is ranked. He's at number 9, but he went up 3 spots. So he was number 12, and Jordan Espinosa dropped from 11 to 12. So Alex Perez jumped 3 spots. Jordan Espinosa dropped 1 spot. So, looks good for Alex Perez. And as we said before, as we said before, this flyweight division is literally completely wide open because of the fact that we have a vacant champion.
Exactly.
Vacant is a champion right now. So pretty soon vacant will lose that championship belt, but still, it keeps
somebody will claim it.
Yeah, we have a great fight coming up with Joseph Benavidez and Jussier Formiga, so that's gonna be a fun fight for sure. Is it Formiga or the Figueredo? I think it's Formiga.
Formiga. Is it
Formiga? Right? It's either Formiga or Figueredo. I can't remember.
It starts with an F though.
Yeah, it's one of those Brazilians. All right, next up we have the co-main event: Michael Chiesa taking on Rafael Dos Anjos, and we both said Chiesa. I think for the same reasons was the fact that that Dos Anjos' last losses were against the 2 wrestlers of the division, and this is probably just as big of a wrestler as the other 2 are. So Dos Anjos, after taking losses to Covington and Usman, taking a loss to Michael Chiesa, showing that maybe wrestling is the way to take this man out.
Well, yeah, everybody knows that it's wrestling, especially if you're bigger than Dos Anjos. But man, so a couple of things, man. This was a boring fight, dude. I don't know. I don't mind saying it. It was a boring fight. Chiesa fought a very boring and tactical fight. I'm not gonna hate on him a lot because it is a number 5th ranked fighter in the division.
Yeah. Do what you gotta do, type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like he needed to get that W. But this dude is huge at 170, man. I mean, Dos Anjos. Yeah, Chiesa, dude. This dude's shoulders, he looks like a 185er, man. Like he's a big dude for 170, in my opinion, which is crazy because he was fighting for a long time at 155.
Yeah. Do you want to hear this?
Go ahead.
Chiesa was unrated before this fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now at number 7.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like it was so important for him to win. Dos Anjos took it just because he's a fighter. This does a lot more to Dos Anjos than it does. Well, I mean, it did a lot for Chiesa because it got him ranked at number 7. He called out Colby Covington. I would love to see that fight, but I don't think Chiesa's ready for it. He's not going to be able to do that to Covington, and Covington's going to piece him up on the feet.
Yeah,
and if you saw it, man, Dos Anjos was ripping him to the body, and every time he touched him, he was hurting Chiesa. Like, I'm just amazed how much power Dos Anjos has. But Chiesa was able to neutralize it by wrestling him and getting him in those positions where Dos Anjos couldn't do anything. I like Dos Anjos. I've been a Dos Anjos fan for a while, ever since he uppercutted Jeremy Stevens, or ever since he got uppercutted by Jeremy Stevens. But I don't know, man. He's 35 years old. He's undersized for the division. I don't think he can make 155. So he's at that point now where he's a journeyman guy, just trying to put a couple wins together, make money. Because everyone knows you just got to wrestle this dude and hold on to him, keep him tired, and just don't get hit by a big right hand, and you'll be fine.
All right. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about that because this is, we've said, a very packed division full of wrestlers too. So Michael Chiesa just joins those ranks. So next up we have the main event: Curtis Blades, Junior Dos Santos. Blades winning via TKO, which I think we're both kind of expecting some kind of ground finish.
Yeah, I was expecting the ground finish. I wasn't expecting that. Were you expecting that?
No, I mean I guess I was expecting a finish. I was expecting Blades to finish Dos Santos pretty handedly, and as we've seen, it was in the second round, only 1 minute and 6 seconds in. So,
man, I mean, I can't say enough about Curtis Blades, man. His trajectory has gone from being kind of a bust and losing and not getting better to kind of putting everything together and being a scary dude. He's so big. He's such a good wrestler. And now he's putting his hands together and him beating Junior Dos Santos with strikes, man. Like I thought he was gonna take him down. I thought he was gonna ground and pound him and elbow him, open him up, and they're gonna TKO it. And the thing is, man, if you see the ending sequence, and he talks about it at the end, which tells me his fight IQ is coming along, and it's I mean, it is a fight IQ, but at the same time, he's a gambler. Because he said that he knew that Dos Santos was going to throw the uppercut, but he said he also knew that his punch was going to land before the uppercut, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, that's exactly to the T what happened. His punch landed and turned the lights out, basically, or kind of stood him up. So that uppercut didn't land and didn't finish. He didn't finish throwing it. If he misses, that uppercut's going to get through and touch his chin.
yeah,
you know. So, but I mean, you can't fault him. It's a game of inches, and I mean, he landed and Dos Santos didn't, and for him to know that uppercut was coming, but I'm gonna come over top of it. I mean, that's a big fight IQ thing to me, and I'm telling you, man, Dos Santos is the best boxer in the division. The best striker is probably Overeem overall as a striker, but the best boxer is Junior Dos Santos, and he outboxed him and he knocked him out basically.
Yeah, man, and I mean, now we see, that top 3 contenders right now are DC, Ngannou, and Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades has been number 3 for a while, but right there, he just solidified it, getting the win over Dos Santos. Kind of seems what you got to do now to kind of make that next step is kind of beat Dos Santos. But that's what Curtis Blades did. He's on a 3-fight win streak now after losing to Ngannou in his last loss. Now going on a 3-fight win streak, taking out Willis, taking out I don't ask to pronounce his name, the very long name, man. And then now with Dos Santos, just gradually getting getting better and better opponents with every fight and looking impressive in all of them.
I mean, looking very impressive. My only concern was at the end, and maybe he's too humble to do it, but he should have called out DC. He should have said something about DC. I mean, the guy interviewing you is the guy that's ahead of you in the division, the guy who was a former champion.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take that opportunity, man? And it just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it from a competitive standpoint, from a what is it called? The killer instinct standpoint. He should have done it. He should have done it. He didn't. He chose not to. He chose to say, I want the next title shot. And I'm thinking, man, you got DC asking for a trilogy fight with Stipe, and Dana White's going to give it to him because DC's that guy. He's a company guy, and he's about to retire. So he's going to give it to him unless Stipe retires. And then you got Ngannou right there, man. Ngannou beat you, and he's ahead of you, right?
Yeah, I can see why he didn't call out Ngannou, considering Ngannou has Rosenstrike coming up soon. But yeah, with the DC thing, I absolutely agree with you. Closed mouths don't get fed, bro. Like you gotta.
Dude, if I'm him, and even if Ngannou got to fight, I'll say I'm waiting for you, Ngannou, or you better, I took care of business today. You take care of business, on your fight, and then we'll meet up again for the title shot. Like do something, not just I want the next title shot, man. That ain't gonna get you nothing. Like you said, closed mouths don't get fed. Nope. If you don't squeak as a wheel, you don't get the oil. So
that's absolutely true. So fortunately, maybe he needs to go on Joe Rogan's podcast and do a call out there or something. Who knows? But yeah, I'm interested to see where this upcoming division goes, man. There's a lot that could possibly happen. We know now that Stipe really doesn't have any seems like he has no interest in fighting in the heavyweight division anytime soon. He just wants Tyson Fury. So
Well, he has that eye injury too, man. So
He has
he
the
has a
eye injury, but we're still not here. But what I would like to hear is, as soon as I'm back from my eye injury, I want to jump into this. But we're hearing talk of he only wants Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but also I don't know if you saw it or not, and I have to look it up. But I think last week there was a report that came out that he had a what is it called? Man, what is it called when they don't heal right? What is it called? He had a
Uh,
setback. He had a setback. He had a
okay.
setback from his eye injury. So I don't know, man. Maybe that eye's not healing as good as he would like it, and I mean, either way, if his eye's not healing as he wants, he's probably wanting the Tyson Fury because he's gonna be a crap ton of money, And he's like, man, this is probably my last fight because my eye's screwed. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll see really what we see going forward. But let's go ahead and jump in. Not jump into, but just point out that we do have this week off in terms of UFC. There will not be any UFC this upcoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be getting ready for the Jones Reyes fight, which could be an interesting one, could be a not interesting one. Who knows? But also Shevchenko versus Chikagian here in Houston, Texas, man.
Juan Adams on the card too.
Juan Adams on the card. Andrea KGB Lee. We have who else do we have? We have Derek Lewis. I almost forgot the Black Beast. How can I forget the Black Beast? So that I think that looks to be a really good card. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I'll probably just go to Woodrow's again to watch it. Enjoy and have a good time there. I'm also not going to be going to the fight, unfortunately, but I am going to try and probably go around downtown, like on Friday night or Saturday, and see if I can.
We should go watch the weigh-in. Oh, it's Friday. Do you work, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'll probably go. I'll try to go then and just reporting live.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. All right, let's go ahead and jump into.
Hold on. You didn't want to talk about the Stephen A. Smith.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, I don't know. We don't have to. We can just leave it for the Patreon or something.
Just leave how I think Joe Rogan put it best is that when ESPN gets these guys that don't, like we said last week, don't know what they're talking about. Stephen A. Smith has literally made a career off of saying loud, boisterous things that may not necessarily be true. But I agree with what Joe Rogan and what Josh Thompson said is that when you say that about basketball players, football players, baseball players, whatever, that they don't show up, it's completely different from when you say that a fighter doesn't show up because they're literally going in there and putting everything on the line. It's the ultimate combat. It's the ultimate sport in terms of you're literally making contact with someone trying to hurt them. In basketball and football and baseball, there's contact, but especially in football, there's contact, but you're not necessarily trying to hurt someone. But the name of MMA is you are going in there to hurt someone.
That's a very, very, very interesting concept. So I have two things to say on that. And I would agree with it, but I feel like that's snobbish to say that. But that means that you would put MMA, boxing, kickboxing above other sports as far as the day of competition. What it takes to get in there, what it takes to be like. Basically, that argument, and I agree with it, is those guys, when they come in, they don't have bad days. In other words, they might have a bad fight, but they don't have a bad day at work. Like they had a bad game plan or they have a bad whatever. But when they're going in there, they're not going to go in there unprepared. They're not going to go because they're going to get killed. They're going to get
things don't go their way.
Yeah, and so that's interesting. That just says that's. I feel like that's saying that MMA and boxing, kickboxing up here, and then other sports like right here from a competition standpoint. In my mind, maybe I'm not saying it the right way, but I feel like that's kind of the argument. And the second argument is, they were going back and forth, Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith, but the interesting aspect of this is not them going back and forth. It's UFC and a representative of the UFC poking the bear, poking ESPN and poking, Stephen A. Smith, love him or hate him. Usually people hate him. He's at ESPN and he's getting paid a crap ton of money for a reason.
$8 million a year.
And that means that ESPN holds him in high regard.
Yeah.
And so you're coming after their $8 million man, and you're Joe Rogan, who's a tiny piece of the machine, of the monster. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out going forward, because I don't know if you remember when the NFL was basically telling the ESPN what to say about concussions, and ESPN said yes sir, because they know that they have $1 billion contracts with the NFL, and that's who pays their mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just really interesting, man. I want to see how that plays out. I mean, I agree with Joe Rogan, and again, I like to think more of, like, I struggle in my capacity, knowing everything there is to know about MMA. So when you get to that level, him having to be so well rounded, and all the people he knows in every sport that he knows, and all the text messages he gets and all the phone calls he gets, it's hard, man. It's hard to know, and it's also hard when you get paid for making, super hot takes that you get paid $8 million, and that's your living. You're more than likely gonna say the first thing that comes to your mind, because that's usually controversial.
Yeah.
And for him saying that about that, and then McGregor came in and replied. I mean, it's true, man. Like, Cerrone, nobody would ever question Cerrone, man.
Yeah,
like,
Cerrone's not that guy.
He's not that guy to question. You can question, I mean, like, probably anybody else,
but there have been fighters that we can question that.
Yeah, but you can't question Cerrone, dude. Like, that's the one guy you probably can't question. I mean, there's some other guys that you can't question, but like Cerrone would be one of the first ones that come to mind, and that's exactly what he did. So I think, Joe Rogan was kind of defensive about it. But again, it's just, I mean, I don't give, Stephen A. Smith too much of our time, but it's not the first time he's made mistakes like that, like the Hunter Henry thing that we talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but it's just interesting because I want to see how it plays out between Joe Rogan, the golden boy for UFC, who's been there since the beginning.
They let him do whatever he wants, really, because he has his own podcast. He has Bellator guys on all the time. He has,
and in fairness, I would say that Joe Rogan is probably bigger than the UFC.
Yes.
From an influence standpoint. Like, he crosses a lot more lines than the UFC does because of his. I like you said, he's a new Johnny Carson. He's a new Late Show. People want to be on his show. He has millions of people that listen to him every day. Every day, do you think about that? Every day, millions of people listen to this dude.
Yep.
And he's poking Stephen A. Smith, who's on ESPN, the biggest sports network in the world. I want to see how this fight between family members kind of, works out.
What I'm thinking is we get Joe Rogan on First Take and they debate. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
Joe Rogan couldn't do it. He might curse.
Did you see what he said? And I don't even know if it's true, but Stephen A. Smith said something about if he punches him, Joe Rogan's getting knocked out or something. Did he say that?
I don't even know. But those punches, those were bad. Those are bad punches. And
what did they say? They said he has better stand-up than Ben Askren.
I thought was kind of funny was like when Thompson mentioned, how he's made a career off of saying hot takes about athletes and stuff, and Josh Thompson was basically saying was like, this is a different sport because these guys might just sock you for saying something like that. Like he's like Cerrone won't do that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But what if he said that about Nate or Nick Diaz? Like,
but
Nate's not saying anything. He's just gonna go hit him.
I don't know, man. Like you said, Cerrone won't do that, but I mean, I can see Cerrone doing that in the heat of the moment, man. Like,
I feel like I could see like Cerrone, like if they're in the same elevator, Cerrone be like, "So what's up with that take, man?"
Or I feel like he would like,
yeah, walk away, laugh.
Exactly. Just to say, yeah, like, dude, they're fighters, man. Like that's why I say, like, I talk shit, I talk all this shit on here, and I have my opinions on stuff. But at the same time, I know these guys are going in there, putting it on the line. I know, I mean, I've read enough interviews, I've seen enough stuff where videos where these guys, I mean, one way or another, they're scared going in there. They're scared going in there, and because it can be them this time, they can get knocked out, they can get choked out, an arm broken. Some of them, I mean, it hasn't happened in MMA in a while, but people died in MMA before.
Mm-hmm.
People die in boxing a lot more often.
Yeah. But
it's not easy, dude. You're going out there and you're putting your body and mind on the line, your health on the line. You're taking years off at the end of your life, for a prize fighter, man. So I understand the mentality, and I wouldn't question that about him, man. If they get in that cage, like I said, even Greg Hardy, dude. As much as I hate Greg Hardy,
He still
that
gets in
dude,
that cage.
he gets in that cage gets locked behind him, and then he can get his knock blocked off. I mean his block knocked off.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, man. Same here. I have a whole newfound respect for this sport, man. I will never question a fighter's ability or a fighter's willingness to go into that cage, man. It takes a certain kind of man, and I don't necessarily know if I would be able to do it, but you know, it's,
check out the segue, dude.
check out the
Speak,
segue.
Speaking of which, 3
Uh-huh.
fused vertebrae in the neck. What kind of a man has 3 fused vertebrae in their neck,
I'll tell you.
retires, and then
I'll tell you what kind of man. The rated R mother effing superstar, Edge, baby. My favorite of all time. The GOAT, in my opinion. Edge. To see him come back, man, was insane. I don't want to talk too much about it because I want that to be our closing, our little closing statement.
I just wanted to segue.
It was insane, dude. Once again, I want to thank. It was actually my girlfriend's cousin Natalie, who bought the tickets for me, her mom, and her uncle. And honestly, I told her as soon as I got back was like, if I would have been at home watching that, I would have been kicking myself. I would have been so mad at myself for missing that out because the fact that he returned in my city, it was insane, man. And the pop that he got, the pop that a lot of people got in this. We'll talk about the eliminations because Brock had a little moment that everyone loved, not because it was him doing it, but because of what happened to him. But we'll get into that later. I want to talk about the women's Royal Rumble first.
All right, let's do that, man. Let's get into wrestling, man. As you guys know, this is Armbars and Suplexes, not just about MMA.
Yeah.
It was a pretty exciting Sunday for Alec.
Absolutely.
For me, my Twitter was blowing up with a bunch of notifications and stuff. I was kind of following along. Man, what was I doing? I had something to do on Sunday, so I wasn't at home. I think I was at a restaurant, so I was getting a lot of notifications and stuff. I was excited for you, man. I was like, oh man! As soon as I got the news of that, I was like, oh damn, Alec's having a blast out there.
Yeah, man. The Royal Rumble is actually my favorite event in wrestling. It's basically it's a battle royal. 30 men, 30 women come into the ring. Every 90 seconds, a new one comes in, and it's always a surprise. You don't know who's coming out or when that person's coming out.
I think that's a cool part.
Though I think the part I like about the women is that it's a lot of NXT superstars, a lot of NXT women superstars that they have. I think they have high stakes in that they really have. They want to see how they work, and they usually do it pretty good. They always come out like Bianca Belair came in number 2. So number 1 was Alexa Bliss. Number 2 was Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair was in there for 33 minutes and eliminated 8 women, which is the new record for the women's Royal Rumble.
Wow, dude, that's awesome, man.
She had a great showing. She had that Kane type of showing because everyone knows that Kane, I think it's tied now with Roman, or Roman has broken the record. But in terms of most eliminations, you always kind of pay attention. Who had the most eliminations in the Royal Rumble? It's kind of in my eyes, it's like you have the 2 MVPs of the Royal Rumble that might not necessarily be the winners, which is who lasts the longest and who eliminated
the most. Yeah.
And Bianca definitely got the most eliminations, so they made her.
Was she in there the longest too, or no?
I had to check. I could probably.
That seems like a long time, dude. 33 minutes.
Yeah, I could probably check that out while we're talking.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. So yeah, it was a really good Rumble. I'm not necessarily happy with who won, but now I've actually been kind of convincing myself that there might be a way that they could go with it, and I'll bring it up in a minute. But just to give a little background, my pick for the Royal Rumble this year was Shayna Baszler. I had her winning the entire thing. I know a lot of people had Sasha Banks, but apparently Sasha Banks suffered an injury beforehand, so she wasn't able to compete.
Really?
In the Royal Rumble this year, yeah. So,
do you believe that?
I do believe that. I think she did suffer an injury. I think it was on a house show because she was in all of the promotional material. I don't think she'd be in the promotional material if it was on purpose for her to be out of it. But so I'm looking. Let me see. Royal Rumble. Do they have it? Women's Royal Rumble. We had Yes, it looks like Bianca Belair did last the longest with 33 minutes and 20 seconds. Had 8 eliminations. So yeah, she had the most eliminations out of all the women. You want to hear who was behind her?
Who?
How many? It was Charlotte Flair, but she only had 4. So like, it wasn't even really close. The closest in terms of time was Alexa Bliss, who stayed in for 26 minutes, and Bianca was in it for 33 minutes. So about a 7-minute difference and a four elimination difference. So she really was the dominant superstar in the Royal Rumble this year. So it's kind of cool to see. It seems like they're pretty high on her. She actually has an NXT title match coming up with Rhea Ripley in a couple weeks. So we'll see how that goes too.
Liv Morgan was only in there for 44 seconds.
Yeah, but it's because she eliminated Lana, and because Lana was pissed off, she went in there. She eliminated Liv Morgan for her. So it's one of those like, oh, like you got angry. I think that might the shortest time looks like it was Chelsea Green with 12 seconds. But she also had an elimination. She did eliminate somebody. So,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, but though I think it challenges the women, and like the women that come in for a short time. It challenges them to try to kind of make a statement and make a
in that short amount of time.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Shayna tied Bianca Belair's eliminations with 8 also. Sorry.
Wow.
And as I said, she was my pick to win the match. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Shayna Baszler came in at number 30. The winner, Charlotte Flair, came in at 17.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, Charlotte Flair won the match. And I think I feel the same because the crowd was booing her pretty hard. Everyone's just kind of tired of seeing Charlotte continue to get the nod when there's so many other women that could be up there, and we're not saying that Charlotte's a bad wrestler. At least I'm not saying. I don't think Charlotte's a bad performer. She's a great performer. She's fantastic. But I don't need to see the same matches over and over. I don't need to see her in the championship circle, in the championship picture over and over again. I would like to see Charlotte have more matches with other women that aren't necessarily for the title. I would like to see Charlotte wrestle more people than just Becky Lynch, than just Bayley, than just Sasha Banks.
How does that work though, man? Like, she's got to be one of the highest paid, right? Because she has the biggest name, and
absolutely.
So
I think Nikki Bella is the only one that was paid higher than her, but Nikki, I don't think, is really working for the company anymore.
So what I'm saying is, like, I mean, would you want to like waste her on like smaller stuff?
That's the beauty about wrestling, is that there's so much opportunity. There's not. You don't have to necessarily be in the championship picture to have a top rivalry or a top program. Sometimes sometimes top programs are not championship matches because it is the name and it is something interesting. Like, I'm gonna go into what I think I would actually be interested in happening if now that she's the Royal Rumble winner, because I don't want to see her fight Becky again. I've seen it a million times. What can those women do again that'll surprise me? I don't want to see her necessarily wrestle Bayley again, even though it's heel Bayley. I don't care to watch that match again.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from like, I know you're a hardcore fan, and so you would be interested in it, but like, I'm just thinking of the casuals, man. Like, the casuals, they're gonna see Flair, they're gonna see the name Flair, they're gonna see for championship. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's why they're beating a dead horse,
If being there Sunday says anything, because as there are a lot of casual fans there at the Royal Rumble, and everyone that I was around just didn't necessarily want Becky to win, and because Becky won, people were hoping for Lacey to beat Bayley. People were hoping for Asuka to beat Becky because they didn't want Charlotte fighting Becky or Bayley again. It was just like, because it's happened so much, especially Becky and Charlotte. Like, that's happened. I think that's happened maybe like 5-6 times this past year alone. Like, that's a lot. It doesn't make sense to me, like, why, but I have a solution.
All right, I want to hear it.
My solution is now that they're trying to make NXT more of a, more of the. It's a brand. It's not NXT. It's not the call up, come get called up. It's a brand. What if kind of a swerve, especially after Rhea Ripley has pinned Charlotte Flair? They've had multiple moments. They had moments at the Survivor Series. There's reports that she might be heading to Orlando for this upcoming episode of NXT. What if she shocks everybody and says she wants to go for the NXT Women's title?
That would be really cool because it would even solidify NXT even more. You know what I mean?
All of a sudden, more people, and then not only that, you have Charlotte Flair on NXT every Wednesday. You're gonna tell me that's not gonna help in the ratings against AEW?
And then you build her up only to match her up against the WWE SmackDown champion. Or who is it?
You mean Bayley?
No, I'm sorry. Becky, right?
Becky's the Raw Women's Champion.
I know, but I'm just saying it comes back to her.
It always comes back to that. You're taking my idea and you're going in the wrong direction. You're going backwards. We're trying to go forwards. I think it sets up a great, fantastic feud against Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. These two women are very big women, very strong women, can really work. Rhea has recently gone over as the face, and she's doing fantastic as the face. Dethroning Shayna Baszler, that's pretty big.
And Charlotte Flair is turning into a heel, but not by choice, basically.
She's kind of been pushed into it. I'll admit she's kind of been like forced to do it, but she's great at it. Her closing promo at the end was fantastic. She was basically saying like, I don't care what you all say, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna always be here. It's exactly what you want the heel to say. She did nothing.
She's embracing it.
This has nothing to do with Charlotte hate. I love Charlotte. She's fantastic as a heel. I just want to see more fresher matchups, and I think this Rhea one really sets that up. It kills two birds with one stone.
A different story.
Yeah, you get a fresh matchup, and you have solidified NXT as an actual brand. Now you can choose if you win the Rumble, you get to choose between 3 championships you want to challenge. And then now you get
that would be legit, dude.
Right? Like now you can get the NXT title on the main card of WrestleMania instead of having it to be on Takeover the night before. Now you could have something like that.
I could just picture like the 3 champions up there, right? Like when it's time to choose who they want to challenge. And then like Becky thinking it's gonna be her because everybody wants it to be her, or because everybody thinks that it's so prestigious. And then they say, no, I'm gonna challenge Charlotte because ever since I was little, I always wanted to be the NXT champ. And it just, you know what I mean? Like it just another little layer so cool to it.
And then you could even have Charlotte Flair either if she wins or loses be on NXT from there on, and have fresh matchups. All of a sudden, that women's division, even though it's really fun, that division is already so stacked and so packed. You put Charlotte there, it kind of creates like a kind of a energy kick where all of a sudden these women want to go out there and they want to have great matchups with Charlotte.
But then that leaves a whole void. What does Becky do now? What's her story now?
Shayna still available.
Ooh.
That's what I want. I wanted Shayna because I wanted her to take on Becky. I think that'd be a great match.
Did you see the reaction, the Ronda Rousey reaction watching
the Rumble?
Yeah, dude, she was like going crazy, man. She was throwing bombs out there, F-bombs and whatever bombs, and it was NSF.
I love it, man.
And
she's fantastic, dude. She's so good. And honestly, with Shayna, you kind of have to strike while the iron's hot because she is a little older. I think she is in her late 30s.
I think so.
I think she might be she's either late 30s or early 40s. She's up there, man. Like she's been in the game for so long.
Well, she was in MMA for a while too,
Exactly. She was born 1980, so she is 39.
Wow, dude.
And she's still so good in the ring. She can tell a story. That's another thing is she's not just like the dominant Brock Lesnar. She can be, but when she has to sell, man, she can sell. And the same thing with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar can sell when he needs to sell. We'll talk about that Claymore kick in a second. I don't know if you know what the Claymore kick is, but that's Drew
Mm-mm.
McIntyre's finisher. And he sold that Claymore like a champ. But yeah, just like I said, I think that the best way to get the best out of the situation, because this is a great Rumble, I think, there's so many different places it can go. And that's the best kind of Rumble, is when you just don't know where each one can go. Even though we know with Drew McIntyre where it's going, we don't know the end result.
Dude, look, I was just looking at Baszler's MMA record, and she has a win over Roxanne Modafferi and a loss to Chris Cyborg. It's crazy,
Oh,
huh?
win over Roxanne?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's impressive. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive. And then, I mean, who doesn't lose to Chris Cyborg? Right? Like, who doesn't lose?
Yeah, dude. Cyborg just won this weekend too, by the way.
I know she did. Julia Budd, right?
Yeah, man, and that was
They said she's no joke also.
she's not, but I mean, Cyborg beat her post to post on that one, man.
Yeah.
Pillar to post, or however you want to say it. I mean, but she put up a decent fight. I mean, she did better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm still salty because I wanted Cyborg in at least in AEW, if not WWE. Man, that would have been dope.
Yeah. I mean, and who didn't want the rematch between her and Nunes, Kind of sucks that
That's true too. Yeah, we're not gonna get
fell
that.
through with Dana. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the men's Rumble. I'm not going to talk too much about my favorite match of the night, actually, which was the Asuka versus Becky Lynch match. Great match, too. If you can go back and watch it, just watch it. It's really good.
I'll watch it.
All right, so yeah, going to the men's Rumble match. As everyone knew, we were getting Brock Lesnar at number 1. He said that he was gonna start out at number 1, and he was gonna go through 30 superstars because he couldn't find one challenger, so he wanted to challenge 29 men. So really, the first, and I love it because it was really did to perfection, because everyone in attendance was hating it. He was constantly eliminating people. Like, let's look at it. He eliminated Elias at number 2, Eric Rowan at number 3. He threw out Robert Roode, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Big E, Cesaro, Shelton Benjamin, Nakamura, MVP, Keith Lee, and Braun Strowman.
Damn, dude.
So he literally went all the way to number 15 before. I mean, he let others come in the ring, but it would get to the point where he would eliminate all of them at once then. Like, at one point, it was Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, and Big E all in the ring at the same time, and then he eliminated all 3 of them. And then it was Keith Lee and Braun Strowman in the ring at the same time, and then he eliminated both of them. But then Ricochet comes out. He's kind of taking his time with Ricochet. Kind of, you can see that he's enjoying the booze because everyone's hating it. I was shouting, "This sucks! I hate this! This is the worst!" And then we finally hear it. My pick to win the whole thing: Drew McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath, comes in. He hears music. He has a stare down with Brock Lesnar. He takes his eye off of Ricochet, and then Ricochet kicks him from behind in the balls, takes him out. Brock goes up against the ropes. Drew hits the Claymore on him, sends him over the top rope, and Brock is out of the ring.
Oh, man.
And that was the elimination. And Drew McIntyre is staring a hole into Brock Lesnar the entire time until Brock finally leaves. And the way he sold this Claymore was amazing, because he sold it. It literally took maybe like 2 other guys coming out, like entrance in the Rumble, before Brock finally left. And that's how I think that's the best way to sell that Claymore kick, basically. It makes it look like, damn, he kicked him hard.
Kicked the crap out of him.
Yeah, he kicked him hard to the point where he was out of it, and Brock just goes to the back. And the match continued. Some great stuff comes in. We have AJ Styles come in. We have Dolph Ziggler. But the one that we all got to talk about, number 21, Mother effing Edge, comes in. All you hear is you hear the countdown. It goes down. 3, 2, 1. You hear the buzzer, and it hears, "You think you know me," and it goes crazy, and the crowd goes insane, including me. That might have been where I lost my voice, honestly. My favorite superstar of all, the Radar superstar Edge, coming in for his long. Honestly, we can't even say long-awaited return, because we thought he was done.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought he was retired, right?
He's had so many neck injuries. Like I said, the triple fused vertebrae in his neck. Um, there was even a little storyline where Seth threatened to break Edge's neck and kill him in order to get John Cena to do something. We thought he was done, man, but he's been staying in shape. He was on Vikings. From what I hear, he's been enjoying being home with his family because he is married to women's legend, Beth Phoenix, who was also in the Rumble, had a very good showing in the Rumble. Married to her, they have their family, but she does a lot of the NXT commentary, so she's on the road a lot. She's on the road now, but now they find out that Edge is back. He has signed a 3-year deal.
Oh wow!
Signed a 3-year deal. It's for like special occasions, but if you think about wrestling, there's so many special occasions you could do. It's not like he's gonna be there like twice a year. Like there's literally like 6-7 times that he could legit like show up on the card. We know we're getting it for WrestleMania. He's gonna be facing Randy Orton. It looks like because Randy attacked him on Monday. And those who don't know, Edge and Randy were a former tag team champions called Rated RKO. But Randy attacked Edge on Monday Night Raw, so we are going to be getting that match. So it's going to be cool. But, yeah, man, just the return of Edge. You can see the look in his face where he's just like, I'm home. Home. I'm back. And he looks better than ever. Like I said, he looks more shredded than when he left.
He looked big, dude. He looked big. He came out with that big trench coat, right?
Yeah, you gotta love the trench coat.
And then he took it off, and all the fireworks went off and stuff,
yeah,
dude. It was dope, man. It was a really cool entrance, man. And I don't know, man. I haven't heard a crowd like that in a long time, man. Have you?
No, man, I haven't. It was amazing, dude. It was awesome. He has the best. I think to me, he has the best spear in the game. There's so many superstars that use a spear. You have Bobby Lashley, you have Roman Reigns, you have Charlotte Flair. But to me, the best spear is done by Edge. I love the whole like in the corner where he's in the corner waiting for you to get up, and he's like, come on. He's bouncing up and down, like ready to hit him. Yeah, he hits it with him, and I think he hits the best one. Just happy to see him back, man. I can't wait to see what he does with the company. This is one that when he retired, I cried. I definitely cried when he retired because he was in the middle of a championship reign. He had the World Heavyweight Championship at the time. And just like Daniel Bryan, it was cut short, but so happy. Just like Daniel Bryan, we get to see him come back because that's all. So it's just awesome to see him. It really is. He had a good run too. Let me see. He had 3 eliminations, but he was in there for 23 minutes, taking bumps. So that let me know that okay, he can take the bumps now. Like he's looking good. They're not trying to protect him too much. So that's a good sign. That's a really good sign.
Dude, how well was this kept under wraps, man?
So there were rumors, but he was also coming out and disputing those rumors. So, and sometimes with rumors, you got to kind of take them with a grain of salt. Like there might be someone saying something because it might be true. Oh yeah, they're having talks with Edge, but might not necessarily mean that he's trying to come back. So I know I kind of stay away from rumors as much as I can because I don't like being spoiled, especially around the Royal Rumble. I try to keep it under wraps. I don't want to really,
especially if it's here and you're going to it.
Yeah, like I mean, and the best part about the Rumble is the surprises. I don't want to be spoiled on who our surprise entrances are. I want to be shocked just like the rest of us. And
well, there was something floating around, that somebody had kind of spoiled it and put out the order. But I don't know if it ended up being true or not. I don't know if it was legit.
I don't know. That comes out every year. I think that happens like every year where the order kind of gets spoiled. But like I said, when it comes to the Rumble, I stay away from spoilers completely. Just avoid them at all costs. But yeah, so that happened. Edge makes a return, has a good showing. The winner of the Rumble is eventually Drew McIntyre. The final 4, as I should also say, the final 4 were Drew McIntyre, Edge, I think Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton. So yeah, Drew, Seth. Oh no, sorry. Drew. It was Randy, Edge, Drew, and Roman. Sorry.
Okay.
That was the final 4. Great final 4. Seth Rollins was used very well too, because Seth Rollins, of course, as everyone knows, is the heel now. comes out number 30 with his boys, Buddy Murphy and the Authors of Pain. They help him. They help him eliminate some people. They eliminate Kevin Owens. They eliminate Aleister Black, and they eliminate Samoa Joe. But eventually, all of them all of Edge, Randy, Roman, and Drew coming together to eliminate Seth Rollins is just fantastic. But yeah, getting down to it, Drew McIntyre gets the win. I think he eliminates Roman last. Yeah, he eliminated Roman Reigns last to win the Rumble. Sorry. And the crowd goes insane because, as I said, like, I think Brock Lesnar really helped with that. And whenever Drew McIntyre won the Rumble, you completely understand why you had to have this stuff with Brock in the beginning.
It helps out. It
set it up. Yeah. I think it made Drew a star because all of a sudden it's like, this man eliminated Brock Lesnar after he was going crazy, eliminated him with the kick. The kick knocked out Brock for a while, and now you're excited to see this because not only does Drew want Brock, but Brock is going to want Drew as well. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, man. I don't know where it goes, but I really hope that it ends with Drew McIntyre getting the championship because I think he's ready, man. And I always thought Drew kind of worked better as a face, even though his name is the Scottish Psychopath. I think he works better as a face. I think people want to like him. He's a big dude. He can wrestle. He can go. He's a good-looking man. He can talk on the mic. Like he's the entire package of what you want.
He got it all.
Yeah, I mean, he got it all. And if this doesn't say that he's got it all, when Drew first appeared in wrestling in WWE, which was maybe around like 2010, he was known as the Chosen One because Vince handpicked him. But however, things didn't turn out the way they wanted it to happen. He had to leave. He went to Impact. He went to the Indies. Got better. Made himself the man he is now. Comes back to WWE, and now is the Royal Rumble winner, and possibly main eventing WrestleMania. Who knows?
That would be interesting, man. I'd love to see that. But I also wanted to ask you, what happened between Brock and Riddle?
Well, Riddle was eliminated. Riddle came out after Brock. We didn't get an actual. What am I trying to say? Like a.
But something happened.
Something did happen. Something did happen. Let me pull it up real quick. Brock said something to Matt Riddle that is kind of disrespectful. Let me pull it up right now. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet actually tweeted out what was said. So this is what was said. He said, "Damn, why there's so much stuff posted here? Stop posting so much, Ryan Satin."
Hey, we got Saint JS who said Cesaro should be next in line.
I'm sorry. Cesaro should be next in line. Very cool. I actually really love Cesaro. He's so good. He's really good in ring. My only problem is he's not great on the mic. He needs to get a little better, or he needs a mouthpiece with him. Why am I not finding what the hell Brock said? Dang it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Let me see tweets and replies. This is not good. Dead air is all over the place. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, this is what he said. Let me tell you.
You got it?
He said, "Kid, you might as well stop saying my name and tagging me in expletive, because you and I will never work together, ever."
That's true. I mean, that's not true. That's kind of sounds like something that he would say, though.
Yeah.
So it really sucks that that's what he said. But from what I heard, is that Matt Riddle was just kind of his like calm, chill self as usual, just kind of like whatever. Like, I don't think he'll stop because I think there is money in that match. I really do think there is money in that match. I think if Matt Riddle starts to do more on NXT and maybe even starts bringing up Brock Lesnar on like certain promos, unscripted promos.
Well, look, man, it was it's being billed as an altercation backstage, you know, and I mean, obviously Brock knows who it is, and you know, because he's been tagged and stuff. So I don't know, man. Maybe that's something that they'll do down the line, or I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. I thought the Rumble would be a perfect opportunity for it, man.
Same here, dude. I thought that was gonna be what was gonna happen. I thought the reason why you had Brock in there in the Rumble is to set up his WrestleMania opponent, and who better than it to be, like, instead of maybe. I mean, as soon as Drew McIntyre came out, I knew it was about to happen. But why not? It could have been all of a sudden you hear, bro, and then he comes out and eliminates Brock Lesnar. It would have been fantastic. But you know, maybe we'll get it later on down the line when Matt Riddle becomes more of a household name. But this could have made him a household name as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they could have pushed that. I mean, that would have been cool for me. You know what I mean? That would have been dope.
Yeah, but then I also kind of understand where you're like, what if they would have still kept it up with Drew McIntyre when the Rumble and he doesn't get quite a pop because he didn't eliminate Brock? You know, it goes both ways. You can.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't want Riddle to eliminate him, but I definitely want maybe Riddle to put up a fight with him. You know, get in there and grapple with him or do something. You know, like
yeah.
Instead, you got that storyline where maybe Brock said, "I don't want to work with him, so eliminate me before he comes out or something." I don't know. You know?
Yeah, true. I think that also one that I was really excited that I really enjoyed seeing was Keith Lee's and Braun Strowman's interaction with Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar was like, "Oh, like damn, these guys are bigger than I am."
And Strowman got eliminated quick too, right?
Pretty quick. I mean, they both did. Like they were in for Keith Lee was in for 3.5 minutes. Braun was in for 1minute and 48 seconds. But like I said, I mean, it was still really good. You know, that was a pretty cool little thing where Keith Lee and Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar all kind of meet in the ring. Even then, like Keith Lee came in the ring by himself with Brock, and they had like a little showdown. And Keith Lee didn't get eliminated right away. He hung around for a little bit until Braun Strowman came out. So it was a good little interaction, I think.
Cool, man. So I'm glad you had fun, man. I'm glad you had a blast. I don't know what that will be equivalent to for me. I mean, that's like, I don't know, like me going to the UFC and then watching Dominic Reyes just dominate John Jones. That'd be kind of.
It's like when we go see McGregor versus Masvidal when it happens in Vegas.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a fight week for sure. I'm sure if they make that fight, that's gonna be a fight week.
International fight week, dude. They'll make it two weekends. They'll have a UFC fan expo around it. Everything, man.
Be amazing. that might be my equivalent to this as well. see Masvidal KO McGregor will be fun.
Dude, if we ever see something like that, dude, can you ever imagine McGregor being KO'd like he knocked out Aldo? You know, like just put to sleep.
Anyone could do it. If anyone could do it, Masvidal.
I agree.
But and Joe Rogan also agrees that that's probably the fight to make next.
Man, what is Joe Rogan though, man? It's Pacquiao. Pacquiao McGregor is the fight to make, man.
Money wise, yeah, because there's a lot more money in boxing.
That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters.
But besides Khabib, in terms of UFC, besides Khabib, that is the fight to make. But at the same time, I don't think McGregor is ready for Khabib. Not yet.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yet. First of all, and like he said,
okay, let's say, look, I know
still sleeping on Ferguson. People need to stop sleeping.
I know. They need to stop sleeping on Ferguson, first of all. But second of all, let's just say it ends up being McGregor and Khabib. Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in my opinion, you know, there's like a slim chance that McGregor wins, right? Like less than 10%, right? Just because it's a bad matchup. But what if he were to win? What would you think of McGregor at that point if he beat Khabib?
Best lightweight of all time?
Of all time?
Of all time?
Of all time.
I don't know. I have to look at the list of featherweights, man. You know I'm new to this game.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't think anybody would ever be able to, like, question him again, basically.
Yeah, but I think at that point, Conor would just retire.
No, he'd fight Pacquiao after that.
Well, I mean in terms of UFC.
Probably.
I think he'd retire UFC at that point. He would have conquered. He would have caught his white whale.
At that, yeah, that's true. But it'd be interesting. Like I bet he'd want to fight and not win the championship, because if I'm McGregor and I beat Khabib, right? At that point, I'm just fighting whoever I want that makes the most money,
Mhm.
and that's the position that Mayweather has been in ever since he beat Oscar De La Hoya.
And
Like,
people just wanted to see him lose at that point.
yeah, and he would fight whoever. Like he avoided certain people. Like he never fought Keith Thurman in his prime. He didn't fight Canelo in his prime. He fought
Nope.
Canelo super early.
Mhm.
Like
He didn't fight Pacquiao at his prime.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what McGregor would be in the position to do. Like he could fight like up and comers and say, "Oh, this guy's a young lion. Let me fight him." And just or this guy's a former champion, and it's like a guy that's been knocked out 3 times in a row. Like he can fight whoever he wants because he has the A side behind him. That'd be interesting, man. That's a very interesting thing to think about if he were to be Khabib.
Yeah. So just real quick before we head out, man, because we are going to be signing off pretty soon. Something interesting. I keep bringing up Joe Rogan's podcast, but I'm just saying that was a great podcast. Go back and listen to it with Josh Thompson. I'm definitely gonna check out more Josh Thompson stuff.
Mhm.
But he mentioned about how him and Brendan Schaub were going back and forth because Brendan Schaub said that anyone that's on the UFC ain't shit, and Joe Rogan
Oh my
basically.
god, dude.
I know that was a stupid take, but Joe Rogan basically said like, dude, I think Diego Lima would be is the real deal. He's like I think he said that he thinks that he can knock out anyone at 170. He mentioned Michael Venom Page. He mentioned that he still thinks that Mighty Mouse is still one of the top pound for pound fighters of all time. Like, what do you think about the things that he said in terms of like those fighters?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't agree with Brendan Schaub. Brendan Schaub,
No, he's an idiot.
he's turning into like a
he has-
Stephen A. Smith type man.
And Joe Rogan mentioned that. And Joe
I mean,
Rogan
it's just
said like he does the Stephen A. Smith stuff.
yeah. So that's ridiculous. I mean, you know me, man. I love MMA. I watch Ryzen. I watch Bellator. I watch One Championship, One Fighting Championship. There's some like legit talent out there, man. That I would love to see in the octagon, or that I would love to see them fight. Fighters that were in the UFC at one point.
The dude that fucked up Eddie Alvarez in Eddie Alvarez's first fight won championship.
Yeah, man. I mean,
crazy dude.
And honestly, the guys that Demetrius Johnson has beat, he hasn't beat easily. Those are probably the hardest fights he's had, since he's been in the UFC. And even what I'm saying is even in the UFC, like they're harder fights than we're in the UFC. Now again, we can go back and forth saying, oh, it's because they're dirty or they're on the juice or whatever. But either way, man, like I'll give you an example. The I think it's Horiguchi, that's the champion and one who actually just got beat by a complete upset. But before, when he was wrecking everybody, he went to Bellator and he beat the Bellator champ in Bellator, and they did a 1-1. So the Bellator champ got to go to one and fight him, and he beat the guy there too. So he beat him twice in a row. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are good, man. Like, it's not just all about the UFC. The UFC has 70%. I give them 70%. Yeah. But there's 30% scattered between Bellator, even PFL. PFL has at 170 they have Roy Cooper. That dude I want to see in the UFC, especially at 170. Man, that'd be man, dude, that'd be phenomenal, dude. That dude's been knocking everybody out, dude. I love to see that. Rory McDonald, who was in the UFC, left, had mixed success. Now
he's in PFL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't say that, man. You can't say that. And for Brendan Schaub to say that a dude that's been in the UFC, that wasn't the Ultimate Fighter, that has been around the game for a while now, I would say at least 10 to 12 years. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's ignorance or stupidity on that part, man. Like, he's just frustrating.
Ignorance. He's a company guy. UFC is. Well, he was in UFC. He sees that as like his company. So I think it's that mixed in with wanting to be, prolific or controversial or whatever you want to say. I think Lima is the one that I think of the most in terms of in terms of fighters that I could see dominating probably all across the board. That man's a monster.
Dude, Ryan Bader is in
Ryan
Bellator.
Bader's killing it in Bellator now, man.
And he's a 2 division champ at heavyweight and light heavyweight. Like, I mean, there's just so many fighters, dude. How can he say it? He interviewed Ryan Bader on his stupid Food Truck Diaries, dude. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
come on.
man. Definitely. I think I'm right there with you. I like the idea that Thompson had of it's never gonna happen. Same thing with wrestling. It's never gonna happen. But like cross promotion where you can have like
Oh no,
I know,
dude.
but it's one of those like dreams you could have where
Well,
I see it all the time where I'm like, man, imagine if like guys like if we were seeing Kenny Omega taking on I don't know, taking on over in freaking I'm trying to think of like a guy like seeing him and dang, I can't think of one like him and Seth Rollins would be a great match. Or seeing guys like a Darby Allin taking on a guy like like a geez, I can't think of any like Marty Scurll, or there's so many like different like matches I'd like to see. Same thing in MMA where it's like there's so many fights you want to see, and I like what Josh Thompson said. Don't have it where it's just champions. Like have like the number one guy of different promotions going against each other. Like I said, Mike Page going up against someone in that 170 divisions that's not quite the champion, but is up there in the rankings. So you can see like, man, who is like the top guy?
Well, a couple of things about that, man. So I don't know why. I guess because of that, I saw a tweet from Scott Coker, and he said that he's been ready and he will stay ready to do cross promotions, but the UFC will never do a cross promotion.
Well, they just did it with Ryzen, right?
Who?
Bellator, yeah.
No, they've been doing it with one.
I thought they just did it with Ryzen.
They might have just done it with Ryzen. I'm sure they did. The one that I know of is the one with one, and they've done it before. They did one a long time ago with they're doing one with Fedor too. So they've done with Fedor, which is his company, M1 Global, which is a really rink-a-dink Russian one, but still it's because it was Fedor at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like now thinking about it, it's a blessing and a curse, and Scott Coker kind of like opened my eyes to it. He said, boxing has it right where, different champions can fight different champions. And that opened my eyes like, no, boxing does not have it right, man. I don't want, 15 different champions in one weight division and a diamond champion and a super emeritus champion and a super champion. I don't want that, like I'm kind of glad that the UFC is looked at as a standard and that we get to see, the number one guy fight the number two guy or the number one guy fight the champion for the most part, Yeah.
But
in boxing, dude, like Mayweather was able to like, pick and choose. Yeah. And we didn't get to see Pacquiao in the prime. Once they fought, it was too long. Like we've missed so many boxing fights because there's so many promoters. There's so much bad blood. They don't let their guys fight the other guys, and they want to only fight their guys. And there's so much risk because they don't want their guy to lose because that's the only guy they have, and now that's their meal ticket. And I don't want MMA to turn into that,
Yeah, I think where Dana's had it wrong is like he's tried to mix boxing and wrestling together. The problem is where you have the wrestling part, whereas you're told who to wrestle, when to wrestle them. In MMA, and same thing with boxing. With boxing, they pick and choose their fight. It's like a mix of that, where it's like, in MMA, yeah, you can choose you choose your fight, but you're not allowed to choose it like entirely, where you don't have freedom to choose your opponent.
Yeah, they only give you
like from these like certain amount of opponents you can choose from.
Yeah, they only give you like 2 declines.
Yeah, and then it gives you where where you should see the 2 and the 3 guy fight, but that guy, one of the guys might not want to fight them, so they'll hold off and just wait, and it's just a messy situation. That's why I think the ranking system might be really hurt in MMA right now, or at least in the UFC, it's kind of hurt right now, where it's kind of all over the place in terms of who's fighting for what, and it's muddled, it's messy.
I think I must start doing I don't know, man. I've always wanted to do this. The only rankings that I really look at for boxing is called the Ring Magazine, pound for pound or for each division. because they're like, they don't really care. I don't think they pay them or anything. It's just what they think. I kind of want to do that for MMA. You know, my pound for pound list of who's the top fighters in each division,
Sure.
and kind of go from there. The hardest part is starting it and justifying why. But I think I might do that, man. I'll probably start with, I don't know, 155 and 170 for now.
That'd be cool.
And then go from there and put it on our Patreon. That'll be on our Patreon as a Patreon only thing.
Yeah, so bam, there you go. Great segue. We're heading out, guys. But make sure you guys go in that link. Check out that Patreon account. And subscribe if you can. Anything helps. You know, the $1, that's the $3, or the $5 tier help out. We finally got a $5 tier member, and so don't let Angel be alone in that $5 tier. Join the $5 tier.
Don't leave him on that island, guys. He's on an island right now,
where you can ask a question every week, and we will answer that question.
Oh, does you want to see if Angel wants to ask a question real quick?
Angel, are you still live? Do you want to ask a question before we head out that we can jump into real quick? We'll wait for him to respond. But also the $3 tier, where you get a weekly shout out of your choosing, whatever you want to be shouted out, we will shout it out. And then the $1 tier, where you get access to the Patreon feed, where we will be posting. Basically, I think we'll be starting posting our predictions there now, talking about wrestling and talking about MMA there. So make sure you guys do that. Also, movies. I mean, that's probably the best place to have a movie discussion as well too.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
Angel, if you're there, please say something. If not, you can wait and have some time to think about your question until next week. And once again, your question, as long as it's not something stupid, we have no problem listening to it. Like if it's a movie related question, if it's a sports related question, if it's a anything related question, you know, like it doesn't matter. As long as it's something that we can have like a legit conversation from.
Beer related. We got into beer this week. I mean, hey.
As long as it's not like a joke question, I think I'm okay with it. You know, if it's some kind of joke related question, I'm just like, I don't care. But
when and where were you when you fell in love with Brock Lesnar, Alec?
I think when Cain Velasquez knocked him out. All right, it doesn't look like Angel is there in the chat, or maybe he can't think of anything. So we're gonna go ahead and head out, guys. Make sure you check us out every Tuesday night, 9:00 CST. A little later, sometimes, you know, it depends on how things go, but it's definitely in that 9:00 area. I think we started at, if I'm looking at it now, we started about 9:07.
Yeah, so, right around there.
Not too bad. You know, we're not too late. We're not keeping you waiting. But the link always goes live about 30 minutes before the show, maybe a little earlier. But sometimes I think I get more eyes on it if it's like 30 minutes, not as much of a wait. So look out for that on my Twitter account. Boom, right there, Alec Miller 0423, where I post the link every week and other things. I actually got pretty involved in wrestling talk this past weekend, so maybe I'll jump into some MMA talk this week with John Jones and Dominic Reyes coming up, and come by next week for our preview of that entire card. I think we'll go down the card completely. So go ahead, Jesus, let them know where they can catch you.
Catch me. Oh, wrong one. Right there, at The Real Jesus, spelled JEEZUS. T-shirts coming soon with that on it. You can catch me there. I always do my MMA takes on there. I'm always in the community. I don't reply as much as I used to, but I'm going to get back into it. I love MMA. I love movies. I love wrestling now. More into it. Very excited about it. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at. We'd love to see you guys on Patreon. Love to see you guys on Twitter. Either that or follow us on Armbars Suplex as well. Where you can get all our MMA and WWE and wrestling takes as well.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you, Angel, for being here in the chat. Also, brand new guy that I met over there at the Royal Rumble, Jose, who is, I'm assuming is Saint JS, joining us tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. And hopefully you stick around. It's good to meet you too at the Royal Rumble. So, all right, guys, we'll be seeing you guys next week.
AMF.